Hello, this is the director's DVD commentary to the Inbetweeners 2. I am Ian Morris.
I'm Damon Beasley, and we're telling you that just in case this has started randomly and you didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah, so
this is what's happening.
Switch it off, go back, press no to commentary on the title page. Talking title pages, this is the title sequence.
Yeah.
Something we've never done before. It's a helicopter shot over Bristol. Would you say inspired by the title sequence of True Detective, or?
Oh, yes, I would. I'd prefer to say that rather than ripped off. So,
well, it's not quite the same.
No, it's not the same as that, but yes, definitely inspired by that. And done by a brilliant, company called Momoko, who, genuinely, not often do you expect something to come back that exceeds your expectations, but this is fantastic. I mean, really did. I mean, it's weird, obviously, isn't it?
Totally weird opening. Does it make any sense? Don't know. Does a lot of this film make any sense? Don't know. Are we going to, look out for that as we go through. So that's a reference number one. There's some True Detective reference for you. Obviously, Harry Potter is referenced here. You'll see some Gallipoli references later on. There's a Douglas Adams reference in there. There's a few bits and bobs. We'll point them out as we go along. Here we go. What's going to happen? What's happening? Go on.
I'm just going to mention the fantastic score here, which was written
you
for
loved
us.
That, didn't you?
Yeah. I went down to the record of the score. They did a big, huge string section record, and David Arnold and Michael Price, who did the music for the film, put that together. And then I got the pleasure of watching Michael Price conduct this string orchestra, essentially. And it was a fantastic moment. Actually, it felt like a film at last.
Well, there it is. Harry Potter, Simon Bird, Blake Harrison, Joe Thomas. Where's Jay? People might be thinking, where's Jay? Well, the idea of the film, we talked about it, was to kind of reset the characters in many ways. And so, because in the same way that when you start sixth form, like they did at the beginning of Series 1, you're kind of reinventing yourself. I think when you leave school, you've got a chance to reinvent yourself slightly as well. And the idea is that, obviously, they're reinventing themselves. But Jay, I guess, has hit the reset button. So we kind of thought of Australia as like Caravan Club. So somewhere he could legitimately make some boasts, and they couldn't quite call him out on it because they sort of knew it was a lie, a bit like Caravan Club, but at the same time they couldn't check it for definite. Anyway, and here we go. This was our idea of how to introduce Jay into the Inbetweeners film. 2 minutes 32 seconds in, and here we go. What do you want to say about the email sequence as we know it?
It's not started yet.
Oh, okay, was leading it.
Here it comes. Right, well, the idea behind this was we wanted to do a continuous take. So we wanted it to look like nothing we've ever really done before in the Inbetweeners. And so that, as it turns out, is an incredibly difficult task to take on.
Too difficult, so we gave up on that. And,
no, I think there is a sense of that. It does feel like a continuous shot. But yeah, so what that does mean is we had to shoot very, very long sections in one take, or wait and it wasn't just one performance, but one perfect take.
So here's a bit. So also we introduced Jane. That was important to us. Let you know what Jay's up to, and hopefully have some laughs along the way. So here we go. This room, there weren't that many people there. That was Union FX. Tim and Adam did a brilliant job for us on that. I'll come back to that nightclub. This is a house in the Gold Coast that we shot in. Now this was the longest continuous bit we did, and we did actually. We put a couple of cuts. We put one cut in it, but actually we did do it the whole way through, right to the end where Jane falls in the water, and that took. I think it was 55 takes in the end.
Yeah.
We're on the slate and half a day
incredibly
rehearsing.
hot in that house as well.
Oh my God, it was hot.
Obviously hot because it's Australia, but
42 is the number. Meaning of Life, of course, Douglas Adams. So anyway, that's a reference there. But sorry, Garrett, go on.
That's all right.
Jace having sex with a tiger we liked.
Yeah,
we don't really spot that.
I know, a lot of work went into some of the paintings on the wall that you'll never see.
You'll never see. There's some brilliant paintings there from the Richard Bullock in the art department. Matt was great, helped us out with that. And here they go.
James Buckley is he's done brilliantly here because he had to very, very, a lot of weight on his shoulders, I think, during the 3 days, shooting days we had to do this plus rehearsal to get all the way through this without making mistakes, which is incredibly difficult when there's so much going on and cameras flying around, and he did do a fantastic job. I'd say it's probably the most professional approach I've ever seen him take to any task. Not probably.
Not probably. definitely the most professional he's ever been.
I think he had a really weird, strange feeling at the end of it. It was that he had a professional pride.
It was genuinely, you could see him slightly confused if you go, what's this strange feeling? I've put work into this. And at the end of it, I feel this weird feeling that I feel happy about the work I put in has paid off. So there is a cut coming up here, obviously, as they walk through the koalas. Now, this beach bit there is a bit of a cut at the end of this as well, unfortunately, because we couldn't quite make it work. Although they are literally yards apart. So that to that is a bit of a cut, but it's not very far. And this beach, Casuarina Beach, I think it was. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the most beautiful beach. When we went to the recce, when I stepped onto that beach, it was about 11 a.m. as well. So you'd expect a beach like that to be packed with people if that was the UK and it was a day like that. No one on it. I could see sort of that 3 kilometres down. There was nobody on it. Just the waves coming in. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So here we are back in the pub. I mean, again, the colours. Hopefully, you're thinking, "Wow, it's a bit dull. It's a bit boring here." And
it's the dog.
The contrast. The dog. DX, the dog.
DX, well done.
Thank you. And right laugh, not like hanging with you two. So Neil, pretty stupid, thinks he can get to Australia in a weekend, which, having flown there 4 times in the past 12 months, I can tell you, you cannot get there in a weekend.
Since the very first episode of the Inbetweeners that we wrote, Neil's got progressively more stupid to the point now where he doesn't know whether things are dead or alive, or whether they're human or animals, or whether cities are indeed animals. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think broadly we've kept with the character. Broadly, he's still sort of. I think he's dozy rather than intellectually subnormal.
Well.
Okay, so
setting up Pete here.
Pete, there actually a chap just popped in there, Adam Jocelyn.
Oh yeah.
Who picked up a stool and said, "Can I take this very funny performance from Adam Jocelyn?" He's someone we met making the Inbetweeners many years ago. So God bless Adam Jocelyn,
a good friend of the Inbetweeners.
Steve Brodie, a man I saw doing stand-up nearly 20 years ago, still going. You might have seen him in The Office. And
he was in the very first
Partridge
sitcom that we made as a production company. Quark was a sitcom Sharon Horgan wrote called Angelo's, and he was the star of that piece. He played Angelo.
Miranda Hart was in it.
Yeah.
Simon Farnaby, now of documentaries about Richard III. Who else was in it?
Oh, Paul Kay. Anyway, back to this.
Basically, so Tamla Kari, who was in her final year of drama school when we did the first film, and she was what do you say? What do you say in English? She was graded on her performance in the film.
For her degree?
Part of her degree, basically part of her coursework, and she got first. So here she is back. Lucy's character's moved on a bit.
Yeah, and she's moved on a bit as well. She's not stopped working since that.
She's brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant and hilarious in this film. I
think. Really funny in this, I think we thought. And
SDX licking some testicles. We have to point out they are in fact Blake Harrison's own testicles. Yeah. He refused to wear any kind of prosthetic. He just said, "I've got some great danglers. I want to show them off to the world."
When we did use some prosthetics for the test, and then we got a guy in to do it. Had quite hairy legs, but like Blake, and I was put my head right there just to check the shot and everything. And I said to him, "Do you mind if I just pick the skirt up just to see where the bum in relation to the testicles is?" And when I pulled it up, his bum was right there. And actually, so from that shot, you don't often see that shot of men. That is, I can tell you, that is technically absolutely correct of where the testicles would be.
Okay, a very grey, cold room.
Dressing up as magic. It's one of my favourite lines. Neil's, again, cutting to the quick. Another line that never gets a laugh. They invented student loans so students go on holiday. That's what I spent my student loan on, going on holiday. But I imagine times are tougher these days for students, so they probably don't anymore. What else can we talk about?
Will's hair. Will's wearing a wig here. You may not have picked up on that.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? There's a few things that didn't quite land, but hopefully in the second or third time round. I mean, if you're listening to us doing the commentary, you must have watched the film a few times by now. Yeah. So
genuine mistake or genuine fan. They're the two options if you're listening to this. So Belinda, of course, brilliant Belinda. Who, she's fantastic in this scene. I mean, when we screened we were always really nervous about whether it's funny or not, and this was the first big laugh at that point in the film, wasn't it?
It was Belinda.
She lands it, and then we were slightly more reassured. But yeah, no, she's fantastic.
And
here he is, Alex McQueen.
Wouldn't be a British comedy film without Alex McQueen as well. I like to think it now. He is versatile and in everything.
I think it's fair to say we might hold our hands up and say guilty as charged if somebody accused us of crowbarring Neil's dad into the scene. But he's so brilliant and so funny, Alex, that we knew we needed to have him in.
Yeah, it was a hard thing writing the script. Actually, was getting that balance between moving them on and bringing back the characters and the people that people liked. So it took us, to be fair, 2.5 years to write that script.
And a big shout out to Gatwick as well, who were brilliant. They were really, really helpful and helped us in everything we wanted to do at the airport. There's another airport scene coming up later.
Now what is that? Now this scene, interestingly, we sort of cut. Sydney, and do we need the Sydney Harbour? And should it be like the episode of Friends where they're walking, past Buckingham Palace, and Big Ben, and every shot is a tourist shot? But we thought we'd allow ourselves one. That was again mainly due to Robert Popper, I'd say, our script editor, who came in and talked us through and sort of convinced us that having a bit of Sydney Harbour was a good idea. And I think I'm really glad he did, because I really love this scene. I think making a joke about data roaming charges abroad is pretty good. I think and we've all been there and been like, wait a minute, how is this fair?
Also, extraordinary to film as well.
Oh my god, I can't believe we got to film that.
It was the last scene we filmed in Australia.
Yeah,
was this scene,
yeah.
so there was a genuine sort of end of term feel about it as well. But
Yeah.
it was just a beautiful evening, and just one of those things where you just have to pinch yourself and think,
Yeah, and we
"Can't
were
believe we're
right
doing
there,
this
and that's the
for
thing.
work."
Yeah, sometimes you think you can't. Okay, so this nightclub, Revolution's nightclub, actually is the Ministry of Sound, where we filmed the first film.
Also,
So
yeah.
Fernando's, this film, this location has been in both Inbetweeners films, literally the same room, literally the same
I was
place.
watching Danny Boyle's Trance the other evening,
Yeah.
and they use this location quite a lot as well. It's
I
very
think
recognisable in
He's
British
not using
film.
it in a sequel. He's not using it in two films though, and saying it's the different. So basically, they've been here. The Inbetweeners have been in this room twice. Once to watch a man suck his own penis, and once to get bounced around with bags.
Legend. He's not here. We'll have to spend the night in a hostel.
Hostel. I think you wrote this joke.
Hostels?
The hostel's hospice joke is a very good one.
Yes.
One of my favourites.
I don't know, Will. We went to visit my Uncle Paul in a hostel when he had cancer. Wasn't very cool.
Not very cool, if being honest.
It also wasn't a hostel.
Yeah.
You see,
Classic.
It was only one night, I suppose. Yeah, at least there might be some sexy nurses there.
there won't be.
Positivity. So, yeah, Australia.
So here he comes.
Here we
It's
go.
a big moment in the film, and obviously a big moment for us to work towards was to get Jay back with the gang.
Yeah.
And the first idea we came up with and just thought, that'll do. Was that, it wasn't, obviously, but Jay's working in the toilet, so here we are.
We wrote this scene, the first draft of this scene was honestly about 9 pages long. It was just loads of Jay denying he worked in a toilet and people coming in, like his boss who comes in the next scene, coming in and going, Jay, to do your job that you do working in the toilet. And we loved it. I read it back the other day, I was like, it's really funny, all this stuff. But, obviously you only have a certain amount of time that you can put on the screen, and a 9-page scene of Jay constantly going, I don't work in a toilet, had a sort of brilliance in its own way. But I really like this scene. I think Buckley's performance here is really good. Plausible deniability. Doesn't work in a fucking toilet, does he? Apart from the toilet he's working in. But
Don't worry, it probably went over your heads. Whoosh.
we like that as well. We like the whoosh, didn't we?
Not my own boss.
Yeah, I was having a quiet moment there. We shot this in a casino in London. This
In
toilet.
Westfield.
So, yeah, in Westfield. So we're there quite early in the morning, and obviously there are people there who have just been there all night. It's a strange
They're
place.
really good at that, casinos, though. They're really good at keeping people. They get you there. It's almost like
Perpetual
people are kind of addicted
day.
to what they're doing there. It's almost as if there's some sort of reason.
Yeah.
They're constantly there.
There were some haunted looks around that room as you came out of the toilet.
Grim old morning, that, wasn't it? And this is shot in Floripa Bar, which is in Shoreditch, which is just down the road from where I live and just down the road from the office.
M.O. Barrow.
Ah, you're right.
Here she is, Emily Berrington.
Emily Berrington.
She's brilliant young actress. First time we got to work with her, she was fantastic. I think she'd come straight off of doing, was it The White Queen?
Yeah, it
One of
wasn't
those
that.
things on BBC.
No, it was a drama thing, wasn't it? It might be the White Queen.
It was that one, yeah. She's in that.
Is it?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
The one about the white rose, red roses.
I don't know if it's called The White Queen, but it's The White something. It was on BBC. You can look at IMDb her. And she has done a brilliant job. A brilliant job, I think, on the character of Katie, because it's a very, very tricky role to get right. Because obviously we've had to write her as a bit of a dick, without giving too much sort of backstory to it. And I think that's a hard thing to do for any actor, is because you've got to kind of find something to like in the character. And I think we know what we like about the character as writers, because it's all there. I love people who are just sort of, young, they're living their life in a bubble, they're having the best time of their life. It doesn't really matter if the rest of the world think they're dicks, because they could not be having a better time. And
I think that's really important. That's the point about both her and Ben, to a lesser degree, I think, in the film, is that she is just like, she's like, well, I'm travelling and I'm allowed to kiss people and I'm allowed to go a bit mental, and what's everyone's problem with that? Again, I think you're right. I think we rather liked that idea of that character. And again, it's the problem really is Will trying to believe that she's something she's not, that she's some kind of romantic salvation for him, which is not what she is, and him forcing her, him thinking that she can be that, is what makes him unhappy, I guess.
There was a good line that was cut, I thought, which was where Will says, I love Katie, she's exactly my type, and Jay says, what, out of your league?
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
You just sort of think, it is true. I mean, she's gorgeous, isn't she, Emily?
Yeah. Simon Bird, I saw Simon Bird today. He's in watching the film. Simon Bird is a handsome man, but somehow those glasses and that haircut we give him, we just knock him down. We knock him down a good 2 or 3 points, I'd say.
Yeah, we have to. He's too sexy, otherwise.
Oh, yes, too sexy. Talking of too sexy, yeah, they all are. So,
She's just an old friend that you want to have sex with.
Bants features quite a lot in the film. Bit of Bants. I think maybe we were, perhaps ironically, looking at the fact that people seem to say banter a lot, and it seems to be a catch-all for enjoying yourself whilst actually not meaning anything at all, and that perhaps people could maybe ease off on the old bants a bit.
Well, I met one, then Lucy.
That's a pretty.
I think we lost that battle.
Yeah, we lost that. Yeah. It's not going to happen. But you never know.
Not going to happen
when
now.
it comes out, the film comes out. I think maybe if just one person who's about to say bants or banter stops themselves because of the Inbetweeners movie, then we'll have.
I think I've moved past it.
job.
I've now gone.
You quite like it?
I'm in non-ironic enjoyment of Bants now. I'm just like, oh, fine, it's just Bants, isn't it? Someone's having Bants.
Bants, no Bants. Eric Bantona. I mean, he
Spencer
retired from
Hang
football.
on, let's give Spencer Millman his writing credit there.
Was that his?
Eric Bantona, he came up with that. Producer Spencer Millman. The only thing he did right on this film.
Also, to be fair, that is a 20-year-old reference, I was about to say.
Of course.
I mean, he retired from football like 20 years ago. This is Felicity Ward, who is a brilliant Australian stand-up comedian, and we were really lucky to get in to play this part. So thanks, Felicity.
Is she at Edinburgh this year? This is topic. It's basically.
Yeah, so
if you're watching this before.
Which you aren't, because this
The
goes
DVD
out.
came out at Christmas.
Yeah, DVD comes
I'm
out at
talking about
Christmas.
Edinburgh 2015. If she's there,
Yeah.
go and catch her. Again, if you're watching it after that, August 2015, I'm talking about Edinburgh 2016, etc.
But basically, try and see Felicity Ward. She's really funny. This is the mansion,
There
a
you go.
tent in your uncle's front garden.
It's only temporary. My new fuckpad is still under construction.
So they don't believe Jay, in your mind. Now, we spent a few days casting in Australia, and we were lucky enough to get David Field,
Yes.
who he is, to come and read for us.
He is
And-
one of our favourite Australians, I'd say. Now,
Yeah.
I haven't worked with him. He's a brilliant Australian. He's best known as an Australian character actor, and he plays quite dark, menacing characters usually. So this
Keithy
is
George
a
in
bit of a
Chopper being one of
yes,
them.
exactly. And this is a bit of a departure for him. And yeah, well, we were so lucky to have him, and we met him at what was interesting about David. I think he might talk about this himself, but when we met him, we had a great audition. We knew he was right, offered him the part. He enjoyed it as well, and obviously took the part. And he hadn't ever seen the show or read the script. He'd only seen the scene for Uncle Brian and thought it was a great character. So he read the script without seeing the show, and he'd shown it to his wife, who was horrified, basically, when she read it without any context of who the characters were and how they were played. So they had to sit down and watch the whole series. And he said after he was sort of like, him and his wife were into it after 2 episodes, they were just like, oh, it's okay, it's fine. I don't have to let them down.
Yeah, he was great, and also great to have around, incredibly enthusiastic and very supportive, and generally just kind of great, David. So thanks, David.
All right, I'll see you later.
These sort of classic Aussie houses. It actually took a while to find that house.
What are they called? Queenslanders?
Queenslanders,
Oh, they're
yeah.
Queenslanders.
That's it. This isn't Queensland. Actually, it's on the Gold Coast. We shot this. If you like mosquitoes, I would suggest shooting on the Gold Coast at night because
This is your hand. Ian got bitten and his hand suddenly swelled. It became like a claw. It was fantastic.
The medic was like, "You've got to take your wedding ring off because it might have swelled." But it was amazing. Like a big.
Ian had a
blown-up
very sort of close working relationship with a medic over the period.
It was
of
incredible.
shooting in Australia. It
was
just isn't
absolutely
cut
cool.
out for the Australian climate, which was
It was like
strange.
one thing after my eyes went. Yeah, I got it when we were shooting Jay's email sequence. Something happened to my eyes, and I couldn't see. I couldn't see for like 2 days. I had to wear these huge, weird glasses, like you see, sort of,
You
old
was going to
people
lay in the
Florida
trailer
wear.
for a bit, didn't you?
Lay in the trailer for an hour during the rehearsals. 'Cause I couldn't see. It couldn't hurt, but I literally couldn't open my eyes.
Oh.
And
Interesting thing about that shot that just went up, the close-up of the phone, not a shot from this scene originally, and we cut it in, and everybody was like, well, that'll never work. And I think you'd be very hard-pushed to know that
nobody's
doesn't
ever
belong in that
spotted it.
scene.
So we'll point it out for you.
Yep.
Are you going? He's going to go and dump her.
We're just
by
going to ruin
Sky.
the film. This is basically what this commentary is about. All the magic will slowly undo
Yeah.
it, and then to the point where you think, God, it's quite amateurish, really, isn't
Do
it?
not keep watching. So that's
Chris Lilly's
Summer Heights
Summer
High
Heights High.
on the TV there, and we were trying to think of what Uncle Brian might be watching, and we initially went for Border Control, which is one of my favourite TV shows, which is the Australian thing that you'll find on, I think, Sky quite a lot, and which is basically a show where people come in from Southeast Asia and Australian customs officials shout at them. And that is the whole. What, did you not know you were bringing in food? This is actually food stuff. It's illegal to bring this much food. Did you not know this? They turned us down. But Chris Lilly, who we were all huge fans of, and series 1 and 2, the boys used to just do scenes from Summer Heights High,
Yes.
rather than learning their own lines.
They knew them off. They knew them down pat, didn't they?
They knew them off by heart.
That-
They didn't know their own lines. They knew Summer Heights High, and that is just the truth.
Yeah.
But they could do The Office and they could do Summer Heights High off by heart. They didn't know their own lines, so they can remember lines. They just can't remember the lines from the job they're supposed to be doing. But we asked Chris Lilly, and he said,
Jemay in the background.
he said, not only can you use it, you can use it for free. And so incredibly grateful to someone who is genuinely brilliant, I think. So that's really, really nice. Thank you, Chris Lilly.
What I like about the character Jemay is obviously the way that her real name's Jamie, and she's just pronouncing it differently because she's sort of redrawing herself, coming up with a new identity. My wife's name before I married her surname was Dudley, and when she changed schools and she went to a girls' school, she told everyone there that her surname was Dudley because she thought it lent an air of sophistication, which
Dudley.
it does. Obviously, if you ever see her, you think that's a Dudley, it couldn't be a Dudley.
Right. But how do you... I don't know, how would Dudley be spelt?
I don't know. I don't know what she was probably using.
Like an L apostrophe.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, there we go. So that's...
Again, Tamla being brilliant here, I think. Really funny. Really brilliant reaction. Again, we sort of... Lucy's backstory, we kind of felt that maybe she was deeply insecure because of him chasing Carly in the first film so much and him constantly going after Carly, and the fact that, that maybe pushed a few buttons that changed her into someone who...
Also, we don't know enough about her in the first film, so I don't think it's that huge a leap.
I don't think it is either. I mean, I've lived through those.
Yeah.
I've lived through those relationships. My God.
I think that's the thing about being young, getting into any relationship, isn't it? It's normally you make really huge decisions about your life together based on knowing someone
about a week.
for 2 nights a week for maybe a month. You think this is it? I'll marry them.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas. This is my favourite.
Yeah.
This is my favourite moment in the movie. I've seen it too many times to laugh as much as I did for the first 28 times, but
I'm not sure that helps me. That's my favourite bit coming out. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Of course not. Just because you promise people stuff doesn't...
Again, I think that's quite a good Jay's life, how Jay lives his life. Just because you promise people stuff doesn't mean you have to do it.
I'm not sure how that helps us.
There it is.
There it is. Well done, Jay.
But the drive out to Byron tomorrow is about 12 hours. We'll think of something. Drive?
So this tent, the art department in Australia. So basically, so you don't get surprised by stuff. Obviously, beforehand you go through things and you look at the tents and stuff. So we picked a tent in England, and then we flew out to Australia, and we got there, and we were told they didn't have that tent, which is frustrating because you've sort of been through it. But anyway, these things happen. So the brilliant art department in Australia, they actually pitched, I think, 20 tents in Australia by the
I was
studio.
so jet lagged when they did that as well.
I know.
When we got there, they were like, we can go to all these. Which
can
tent do
pick
you
a
want?
tent.
And I looked out, and they said we've set them all up because they were being really brilliantly
Very
thorough.
professional, yeah.
And there were 20 tents out on the lawn. It's just like,
It was like a kind of nightmare, like being jet lagged and looking out and just seeing a load of tents that were all slightly different, but not not different enough. You're like, I don't know, I can't pick a tent.
okay, dude.
This
is the opening
Susie
scene
Wakoma,
that we
Ollie
shot
Johnson, Freddie Stromer. Yes.
Of course, yeah.
So there's Freddie Stromer, first person we ever cast over Skype. Susie Wakoma on the left, Ollie Johnson on the right, and they were great. So, do you want to talk about a bit of Freddie Stromer? So Freddie Stromer and Brad Kenegissa, got that right, I think, playing Jesper. So Freddie was just a fan of the show, actually, and he auditioned. He was living in Los Angeles, still is living in Los Angeles, and he sent us an audition on tape, and we thought it was great. And then we auditioned him, and he was great, and he very kindly came over and played it. And he's really, really funny and subtle, I think, Freddie. And we had to try and make him a bit bigger to fit in with everyone else. But he was a pleasure to work with, and sort of much funnier than I think he knows, really. So probably keep it that way.
The dreads are interesting here because for authenticity's sake, we wanted the dreads to look as real as possible. So we got the hair department basically weaved in extensions into Freddie's hair, and then they created dreads out of it. It took a day to do, and it was really, really sort of time consuming, also quite painful to do for Freddie, but he sat through all that. And because there was so much weight and volume to them, when he went home that evening, they genuinely were causing him an awful lot of inconvenience. He couldn't see it, so there was no way he could carry on wearing them. But he was trying to be a trooper and not come across as Hollywood. So I think he spent about 8 hours just wrestling in incredible pain before he had to ring someone up and say, I think we might have to take them out. Yeah. So we did eventually have to go with a wig for that one. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a lot of dreads there. We were remarking, probably would have taken him about 2 years in real life to grow.
I think 2 years, pretty realistic, I'd say. A realistic amount of dreadlocks. Well done, Emma and Charlie and all the makeup team. We do love you.
See you in Byron.
See you in Byron.
Oh, there's Jay. Jay beeping like a horn.
That actually was shot not in the Sydney bus station, it was shot in the Surfers Paradise bus station. Coach station, not the bus station.
Yeah, you were meant to say pile of dirt as that car goes.
Pile of dirt there. I'm not going to blow all the magic. So the car, lots of these cars, people hire these cars, there's lots of cars you see in Australia, particularly kids travelling, that have spray paint and bands and stuff on the side. And we went with Mysterious Girl and we went with Peter Andre. So there's a car that says Mysterious Girl on it twice for some reason, and then I want to get close to you on one side. So, not really a kind of. I think the idea was more not to laugh at Peter Andre. The idea was more to kind of date.
Yeah,
the car.
date it. And
so the idea is like maybe 15 years ago, whoever painted that car thought it was cool, and no one's painted it since.
That was Lennox Head. That shot up there, shot by our second unit director, part-time producer Spencer Millman. Obviously, you know, we quickly realised that. This was indeed, I say quickly, quite late in the day actually, realised it was indeed a road movie we were shooting as we were travelling around. And so there's quite a lot of car footage that we needed, and especially the spectacular coastline. So we probably did about 6 or 7 days of second unit filming, and our producer, Spencer, who's done a directing course in his life, ended up being second unit director and taking all of that. So, but we got... I mean, there's a shot coming up in a minute, which is basically our director's showreel shot that we love, that we spent a beautiful morning. When's it coming up? There it is. That was top of the lighthouse.
Byron Bay.
Yeah, Byron Bay, where the lighthouse is. This is Byron Bay.
This is all shot, but it's all shot by Spenny and Byron Bay, yeah?
Yeah.
Second unit stuff.
Or in Jay's opinion.
No, I mean, a lot of memories we have from there are incredibly sort of special, stay with me forever. But there was one I remember, the morning we shot on the lighthouse, around the lighthouse at Byron Bay. It was just before dawn and we all had to get up there, and over Byron Bay was a full moon, and it was a sort of, almost cloudless night, and then on the other side across the Pacific Ocean to the east, the sun was rising and we were all up there together, and it was, a rare moment. Yeah.
I remember getting a bit of a lump in my throat actually. It was a very emotional.
Did you get that scene too? Did you get it looked at?
Yeah, I did. It was cancer.
It was.
No, it was a very emotional moment. I was like, this is so weird.
I think that's my phone going, so that's good for a record.
Is that with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, we won't answer it. Okay.
That's good of you, thanks. Yeah, so it was a really emotional moment, and the idea that the TV show that we had started, in a kind of small way, and also the first week we were shot at Thorpe Park, and I was staying at my mum's in Chertsey, and 6 years later, there I was watching the sunrise over the Pacific with the same people. Was kind of an emotional thing. None of these people are extras. None of these people are extras. They are all doing just what they were doing that day at the Arts Factory Lodge.
Yeah, I hadn't really seen the magic stick since the 1980s, but they seem to be
huge,
really big,
still huge amongst people who are travelling in Australia. Again, let's talk about travelling in Australia. I guess, why Australia? Why not Southeast Asia, Ian? Well, I'll tell you, because I think that Australia attracts a more varied type of teenager and people in their 20s travelling, I think. I think that there is a kind of slight class difference between Will and Jay and Neil, I think. And legitimately, you get all sorts of people travelling to Australia that I think you don't really get travelling to India or Southeast Asia quite as much. I think there's definitely a sense in which it's a broader church. So when we talked about travelling, we thought that both Neil and Jay, you believe that they would go to Australia and travel around, as you could Will, as you could Simon, whereas India, not quite so much. And obviously Southeast Asia, the Hangover Part 2 went there, so we tried to steer clear of that. So that was another reason why Australia. Wait, I'm thinking.
About what? Wait. What is it?
Yeah, we enjoyed Joe putting his... Joe Thomas is very aware of himself and is a brilliantly thoughtful actor. And so he probably overthought how to hold his head to think with his hand there, but got there in the end.
We had to take a photo on my phone of the correct position to have your hand, and then just show it to him before he took the take.
Now this scene is broadly based on... I lived in America for a couple of years because my wife's American, and this scene is broadly based on the weekly Skype chats I would have with my mother, which... I'd just say this. I'd literally say this. I'd be like, come on, you've not turned the camera on. Yeah, Dad's pointing at the ceiling.
2 bowls and 2 coffee mugs.
There's not been 2 bowls and 2 coffee mugs, but thank you. It's just a bit before that. But the stage where genuinely, when I Skype my mum now, I've just got used to seeing up her nostrils, top of her head, mostly ceiling. I'm just like, okay, fine, that's close enough.
It's interesting, all the Skype stuff, because obviously we had to embrace it. I mean, we had that discussion early on,
yeah.
How are we going to be able to talk to the characters back in the UK? Is it a cheat like a phone call used to be in the old days? But yeah. I guess, it's not really, because it's visual, and I think we just thought we're going to have to embrace it and go with it. And I think actually it turned out better than... I mean, we have tried to shoot it not just...
Yeah, because that shot's laptop, not in the laptop.
Exactly, so we've tried to play around with the shots as well. So we get some where it's straight down the lens and others in the room, but... to give it more of a sense that we're in a scene and we're not just, talking to the computer. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to call that and say might have just about pulled that off.
Doesn't bother me. There's a lot of Skype scenes in the film, really, and it doesn't really bother me. I feel like these two are talking to each other,
Martin Treneman
and
Robin Weaver.
Simon, we're so delighted for you. You'll have to start the planning as soon as you get back, I suppose.
Yes, thanks for stating the fucking obvious.
Don't be so horrible to your mother, is what my wife says to me all the time. No,
it's just a boy. It's definitely a boy thing, isn't it?
God.
I mean, my son, who adores his mother, still comes out like he's only 7. He's already. I can see it starting. Come on, mate.
No, I mean, I couldn't adore my mother more, and yet I am pretty short with her, I'd say. Terrible human being that I am.
And I've got all my bridesmaids sorted. I just hope Jane will come back from Australia.
What?
No, Lucy, I'm in Australia.
So I quite like that kind of reaction from Simon there. I like the idea of I'll just very quietly explain to her that she's made a mistake. Because I'm terrified of her.
I'm meant to give you minute-by-minute updates on my friend's
And there's Joe, bit of a swallow because he's terrified.
Moving in with Steve because she's missed her period, and Louise is back in Coventry because she's self-harming again.
And the actress Tamla Kari, of course, from Coventry. So a little reference there to Coventry for her. Now,
where do
we start by blowing the magic. Should we ruin the magic for everyone?
Yeah.
This is based on the Arts Factory Lodge Hostel in Byron Bay, but it's actually shot in January and February in 3 Mills Studios in East London. This is a set. Richard Bullock, the designer, and his team did an amazing job to recreate the outside of the Arts Factory Lodge Hostel in a freezing cold studio in East London.
Yeah.
So...
And, of course, obviously... often get overlooked, but cameras and lighting as well.
That's true. Sean Moan, the gaffer, and his team.
Ben Wheeler, our director of photography.
Ben Wheeler, director of photography.
I'd argue we just couldn't have made this movie without him, could we?
No, we could not have made it.
And the first AD, Patrick Conroy, basically makes everything happen.
Yeah.
And is the grown-up on set and gets everyone there. And
But also, not even just on set, Patrick kind of... He's on his lap. When all these flights we took, he was always on his laptop, always working things out, always working how to get more time. Yeah, but he wasn't.
No, I know. I went up there before. He's carried on working.
Always on his laptop, working out how he can get more stuff done. And then basically he'd dump it all on Ben Wheeler, and Ben Wheeler would make it happen, and we'd swan around having fancy lunches while they did all that work. So
I think what normally happens is Ian and I would write a script, and then people would come to us and say, it's very difficult, we're not going to have to shoot some of these things, I don't think. And we would say, we really want to do it. And they would say, okay, but we're sort of flagging up why these things are difficult. And then we'd sort of pretend we hadn't heard that and say, yes, but we really want to do it. And without Patrick and Ben, the reality is we wouldn't be able to do those things, but they've worked out, there's some incredible sort of just logistical nightmares that this film threw up that they managed to solve and enabled us to, pull off some of the big set pieces in the movie. So we're eternally grateful.
Yeah, and that was the thing about Spencer shooting the second unit as well, was that Patrick just went through shot by shot what he thought we needed. We talked about it as well, but it's like, okay, well, if you send Spencer off with a car and only character Will is shooting on this day, so you can use the other 3 in the car and a stand-in and stuff. So, and that was kind of relentlessness that just got us to the stage where we could shoot this. And then, we like to get a lot of coverage. So Ben getting all that stuff done was also brilliant in the time available. So well done, everyone. Spiritual.
Yeah, we took the decision to shoot this in a studio as well, rather than because our Australian schedule was very punishing, and we were originally going to shoot this out, a nighttime exterior shoot in Australia. But in the end, we were just like, well, that's going to kill us all because we were doing too much out there.
It was a pretty brutal schedule. Basically, we flew to Australia for 11 days to recce the locations and to do castings. So that was lots of flying, lots of travelling, driving to the outback and stuff. Then we flew back. Then we had, I think, 10 days rehearsals, script rewrites, casting. Then we flew back to Australia to basically start filming. And we started filming, I think, 5 days after we got there on the Gold Coast. And we had a week of shooting at the water park, which is coming up. And that they were very good, brilliant to us, Wet n Wild, but we had to shoot before they opened a lot of the time. Which they opened at 9:30, so the sun would come up about 4:30. So we were effectively shooting between 4:30 and 9:30, which meant the cool time, when you start working for the boys and for the pickups, was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So then you had to go to bed at basically 6 o'clock the previous day. So we did a week of that, and then the plan had been to shoot this overnight. So all through the night the next week, and I think we sort of decided then go off to the outback and shoot in sort of 45 to 50 degree heat, and we just thought, can't do it. People will die. Can't do it. So that's one of the other reasons that this is.
And this is the brilliant
Lucy Cohu.
Yeah, Lucy Cohu. She's playing Nikki, and there's her husband Stephen, played by Tom Wren.
Tom Wren,
yeah. We thought it was important to have a character, slightly older character who's doing the same journey as most of the backpackers out there, because that's something everybody seems to have experienced, and somebody sort of trying to recapture their youth in a way. She's been brilliant, Lucy. Actually, I mean, she is hilarious, isn't she? I mean,
yeah. She I did a week's research in 2012 for this film. I went over to Australia for a week and I stayed in a couple of backpackers' places, and I stayed at the Surfers Paradise Backpackers Lodge for a night. And there was a guy there who was Australian actually, who. He was more like Richard from the first film. Like, he kept coming over to us going, "Oh, what are you guys up to? What are you doing then, yeah?" And he was older than me, but he looked like he might have been on drugs, but he was definitely a total weirdo, and just kept going from one group to another, freaking people out. And there were these two. I mean, they looked like models. These two German blokes who were playing topless, playing sort of keepy up with the football. In the sort of middle bit of the hostel, and after sort of coming over to me and not getting much joy, and then going to another group of girls and getting much joy, he went over to these two sort of unbelievably beautiful looking German men who were doing really, really good keepy up. They said over a volleyball net. They were playing sort of foot tennis, and he got the ball. And he literally
Great
just
technique,
it out, straight out, like kicked it once out. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I'll go and get it." It came out. I run to the road, brought it back, and they sort of did it again. Great technique, just little
sounds
keepy
cool.
up. And he just literally next time walloped it again, and it's like the third time he just walloped it and couldn't do it. These two German guys were like, "Okay, we're just gonna."
We'll stop.
You've really stopped me now. Stop playing now.
Yeah, I think I've done that in the past.
It was so good.
Here we go, Simon Bird. Simon Bird.
Oh yeah.
Diligent as ever. Spent weeks and weeks learning from scratch to play this song on the guitar.
Yeah.
Had singing lessons, so he could sing. We deliberately made him sing, in an uncomfortable octave higher range. And I think the thing about the guitar is he spent 4 weeks learning guitar, and obviously when he got there on the day, we had it played in and piped in. So obviously it's for realism.
But you can see his fingers are pretty much where they would be.
He's playing the chords. He's got the right chords.
Yeah, and
he's good. He's a grade 8 violin.
Grade 8 violin.
You can never take that away from him. And I think his commitment to the joke, as always. Yeah. But, going through that process is what makes this, 10 times funnier than it should be almost, because I think that's what he does, the Birdman.
Yeah. And he is singing this live as well. I mean, he's singing over a backing track, but this is a live performance that he did many times that day. And
I mean, obviously, by the time you see this, it will have already been #1 in the charts for several weeks. I'd have thought.
We're really hoping we can
Simon
get
Bird.
this in the charts. So if it hasn't worked in the summer, maybe the Christmas mark at the DVD. I think we might even put an MP3 on the MP4 on the DVD, so you can download this and have it as your ring or on your phone. Who would not want that? Mine! I've got a phone call. Mine!
What's a shame we couldn't put on here, and it was decisions that we made. Just had to cut one of the scenes. It says a scene where Joe Thomas,
my favourite scene.
He's stayed on behind after everyone's left, and he's just dancing with the character Nikki, stoned, singing "No Woman, No Cry."
Joe Thomas's dancing and singing of "No Woman, No Cry" is so good that it's just the cost of clearing the music meant we couldn't put it on the DVD. But
if we did an Inbetweeners 3, which we won't, if we did, it'll be that on a loop, basically playing out, and people will come from all around.
Yeah, I would watch that for Joe Thomas singing and dancing. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. It's basically how he does it.
There you go.
Sexy times. So actually, strictly, if you do want to have sex in a hostel, you're meant to go back early. Because there's fewer people sleeping, rather than just bowl in the middle of it. So he's right. They shouldn't be doing this. But I spent a lot of time again talking to people that ran the hostels about where people have sex or where people do it. And it turns out the answer is absolutely everywhere, absolutely all the time. Showers, cupboards. There's the biggest hostel was the Nomads in Cairns, the biggest one in Australia. Talking to people there, and they said that quite regularly they find people just in the corridor, like not even like round the corner or in a cupboard, just having sex, just in the corridors.
It's the old creepy BDI from Jay. What was good when we saw the very first cut of this? I remember we got to this point and the shot coming up now with him working, and I genuinely was like, "Well, that is too much. People are going to be put off about that." I'd say the test screening, one of the biggest laughs in the whole movie was that.
Pretty big laugh. Jay wanking over it. But again, you don't want to think too deeply about what's actually happening there. Which is Jay's wanking over his friend getting.
Also, what I love about it is he stops for a bit and then he's like, "Oh, all right then. Well, I'll just carry on."
Yeah, you don't want to think too hard through these things.
Or maybe you do. Here we go. Bibi
Nerheim, Norwegian.
Yeah.
In real life, very funny.
And she really was.
Oh,
we did obviously not
she
to take
beat
to this
the
fight.
shit out of Simon, but she absolutely beat the shit out of him. To the point where after about 3 takes, Simon had to come over and go, "Listen, it's really good and everything what she's doing, but is it a little bit hard because I am getting the shit kicked out of me here." So that's Dawn. That is
the sunrise we talked about earlier when we were getting all soppy about the lighthouse and over the sun coming out. It was that morning.
That's the first time you'll see the sun from Australia.
Character Simon eating a loaf of bread, stale bread and some Doritos.
Yeah, classic breakfast. This is a shot at a golf club inland from the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
and it was going to be, this is where we were going to shoot the outside scenes, the night scenes around the fire and stuff, but it was so noisy. We stayed there till dusk, and one of the things we couldn't shoot is like the frogs and stuff are so noisy you can't shoot.
Some of it I remember at one point because I had my folder and it was basically it was quite well organised at this point because it was early on. It was a recce. I had my folder of stuff and I was holding it and we were walking around and something just spooked me, landed on my hand, and I just threw it at Patrick, the first AD, really quite hard to threw my folder.
The whole thing,
like a reflex. It was just everywhere. Everyone was picking up my piece of paper.
But you did another one that. I give you my folder.
Oh yeah, I did it with someone else's.
And I gave you my folder. We were staying in the car park of the Arts Factory Lodge.
So basically, that's why we shot in the studios because I'm such a big pussy when it comes to being outdoors at night in Australia.
It was pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't. And looking back now, because the cicadas are bad enough in the day, but some of the stuff we had to just sort of fix when we got back to London in terms of sound. But you wouldn't have been able to film.
No, you wouldn't have been able to film. I went travelling in South America with my friend Christian Hinchcliffe, and he made us get 2 things for travelling. Well, 3 things actually. One is we had to have matching rucksacks. So we were carrying the same amount of stuff. So we had matching red, white and blue rucksacks, which I can only imagine how stupid they looked. One was a classic body passport belt thing, which Will's going to... Here we go. Wait, it's coming. Where is it? It's pink. It's flesh-toned. So we each had a flesh-toned wallet. But more than that, for really important things, photocopies of our passports and $200, we had a belt which you could buy in Covent Garden Market, which was like a black formal belt that had a zip on the inside, exactly like this one, which we wore for 2 months around South America with shorts. Just like rubbish old shorts and a very smart, nice black belt. But yeah, they're very good. I recommend them.
That's Joe's first pinch to the nose because we shot this out sequence,
Yeah.
so you can see how
different
it was in the preceding scene. Never quite managed, never quite got it back.
Didn't quite get that one back, never mind.
Oh, Splash Planet.
Splash Planet.
Well, this is at. We filmed this at Wet and Wild.
Wow, are we
the
allowed
Gold
to say
Coast.
that?
Yeah, we are allowed to say it. It's in the credits.
Okay. Is it? I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's quite obvious where it is.
Well.
Excuse me, I'm looking for a job as a dolphin trainer.
So as Ian mentioned earlier, this was the first scene we shot. I'd say this is 4:45
It's
a.m.
literally
filming
quarter to
that.
5 in the morning.
I mean, it was
This
a very, very strange week.
Alright, I'm in.
Yeah, it was a strange old week because I love theme parks and I love water parks, and all these rides at Wet n Wild are absolutely amazing and they're brilliant, and it's a great, huge water park. And there's such fun stuff. And by the end, I've been on one of the rides once, and I never wanted to see it again because it was just that that sort of sick feeling you get when you're working and doing stuff really early on.
I've still got a pair of trunks that I wore the day we filmed in the Lazy River. There's a sequence going up, and we were in there for about 6 hours filming this scene, and they still stink of the chlorine because obviously there's quite a lot of chlorine in there, but it's still got that. You can't get rid of that smell now. It's there forever, and I sort of like it because it reminds me of this place. Which is weird.
They also, I should say actually, the people that ran it could not have been nicer to us or more helpful.
Amanda
was amazing.
in charge there.
They
Basically brilliant.
They were like, okay, well we'll give you this area, we'll give you that area, and you can start this. And they, all the staff came in really early to help us, and it was a brilliant. They were really brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost height of summer for them, and they were, they were having to close rides. People had come, on their holidays. So the idea of closing rides and people paying to get in, it's a very delicate situation. But they were really accommodating, and obviously we got everything that we needed. So thank you very much.
Park. Lazy River. Interestingly,
As you can see from this map of the park,
a really brilliant ride, the Lazy River.
Love it. Always have loved it.
So we had to. This probably isn't interesting, but they have different speed settings for the water, and we had to put it on the slowest setting so we could film. But otherwise, it'd be bombing round on the old rings.
Here we go.
Pedophile.
I love that joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke.
It makes me laugh.
It's a good joke.
It always reminds me of when Ian got married on his wedding day. Ian got married in Palm Springs.
That's right.
In a beautiful hotel.
Parker Palm Springs.
So obviously it's very hot if you don't know Palm Springs. It's in the desert in California. And during the day, because the wedding was in the evening when it was cooler, I was one of the best men with James Bobin, who's the director of the Muppets movies, and Flight of the Conchords and many other brilliant things, Ali G. But we had to keep him occupied. Of course, actually, Dan Mazer was there as well, wasn't he? For the producer and writer on Ali G and director of They Give It a Year.
I'll give it a year.
They give it a year. So to keep Ian from going mental during the day, that was basically our job. We decided to take him out to a water park. So it was 4, let's say, approaching middle-aged men, who were all to varying degrees quite stressed out, maybe apart from Dan Mazer. And we ended up taking Ian to this water park where the 4 of us went around. We couldn't have looked more like paedophiles.
I mean, I'm quite pale at the best of times. I mean, the 4 of us also, there's a great bit we stood in the big sort of wave pool, just waist deep. We didn't even move. We were just like standing talking.
Surrounded by children.
Surrounded
the only
by
people
children.
our age not with children.
Yeah.
And also we did do the Lazy River. We did exactly this. I remember we all just went around on the Lazy River. I think they were getting ready to throw us out of the park by the time we decided to call it a day.
Everyone our age had at least 2 children with them. And there was just 4 of us just hanging out. And also, we weren't like queuing for the big rides or anything, so we didn't really want to queue. We were just sort of like, we were just going on the kids' rides, like the Lazy River and the big wave pool. That was it. Please.
There's a great shot that we didn't use in the film eventually of Joe
He's on
going
the DVD
off down the
extras.
Lazy River.
Yeah.
He's on the DVD extras with his legs and his arms out and his head underwater as he floats down. And he had to do it for as long as he could hold his breath.
It's amazing,
bless
that.
him. So there's a great shot. It's like over a minute long, isn't there?
Yeah. Him just drifting away.
No, Ben. Scared? No, Ben. Ashamed of your tiny...
Rapids racer.
Rapids racer.
You get to race people down rapids.
Nosebleed. Come on, let's...
Nosebleeds.
Will.
Crane shot. Big crane shot to start this scene.
Yeah.
About 2 hours of our lives setting that crane up.
Because Jane told some parents I was a paedophile. Pretty good. Where's Jane now? He's gone to find Jane.
Jane? What's she doing here?
That's why he's in Australia. He found out
There's
she
the
worked
plot.
and he's desperate to get her back.
Right.
It's actually, that's the, looking back in terms of writing, you know, we do, obviously, you know, we write a lot of jokes, and that tends to happen sort of, you know, it's just one of those things you kind of like, I don't know, we know the characters very well, sort of writing jokes feels more instinctive than trying to make the plot work. So trying to get that idea of Jay was out there for Jane and the beats of that story are actually almost the most difficult part of the writing process, I'd say, isn't it? It's getting that right. And
we rewrote a lot of the scenes, we do, you know, the way we write is we do about 20 drafts of this script, I'd say, over the years. So, yeah, just trying to get it shorter, get it funnier, get the jokes close together and make it make sense, really, is all it was.
Amazing.
Ellie Lee playing the booth attendant. Initially, for some reason, again, as part of our drafts, we had the booth attendant at the beginning and the booth attendant here as two different people.
Yeah.
And then we saw Nellie and we're like, we've got one girl who's really good. We've cast her. She's great as a booth attendant. We just need another booth attendant. And we're like, it literally took us like a week before we filmed this. We were like, she could probably just do both, couldn't she? Because she is the same character doing the same thing. We don't need two people.
this was a late call in terms of the scripts, but we put this as a piece of material we'd written for somewhere else, which Jay delivered quite confidently,
right,
whereas, you know, we always loved it and we wanted to find a home for it, and we tried it on the end of the scene and actually Buckley pulls it off, makes it, you know, I think it's sort of brilliant, his performance there, isn't it? Because he's kind of, you know, he's very good at that. He's very good at the old pathos, isn't he?
I know. His big sad eyes. So the dolphin, interesting, the dolphins are actually doing this. There's no CGI dolphin here. This dolphin is trained to do that and to lie on its back like that. Loves it.
And it took all its cues from Blake.
Yeah, Blake was doing and it did eat a hamburger. We gave it a gelatin hamburger, which it happily ate.
Yeah. To take a lot of advice about what we can
vets
feed
are
them and
there
give them, and yeah, gelatin they eat anyway. So it's just actually a gelatin lump.
Vitamins. Basically, actually, it was vitamins.
Full of
It was
vitamins,
actively good for it.
Yeah.
Is what it was fed. It was gelatin and vitamins.
Although that one did die,
that was dead now. Yeah.
which was handy because
Yeah, it's great. It was really good to get a dead one.
also a lot of people in the background who are extras on that day are integral parts to the production. Leah Martin, who's one of our
exec producers.
She's the flame-haired woman.
Mark Les Burrell's exec producer, and Rihanna Andrews, who started this journey about a year ago, recceing locations, finding dolphin pools. So she's the blonde. And Carlos, of course, who used to drive me to set.
I'd say other than Ian's wife and me, I think Rihanna Andrews has probably spent more time with you over the last 3 years than anyone else.
Rihanna Andrews. Thanks, Rihanna.
Well done, Rihanna, for going through that.
Okay, well, there's this. I mean, again, we talked about the French Connection a bit, didn't we? The sort of chase, the idea of a chase. What else can we talk about? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean,
Jaws at the bottom.
I know. I tell you what's interesting. We thought we had this when we were writing the first film. We weren't sure we had enough big set pieces in it, and we a late addition we thought we might shoot was a sequence similar to this. In the end, we didn't do it because it was quite logistically difficult, and we thought the script was working well enough. But we always had this idea, so obviously it's appeared in the sequel. I mean, hopefully this is one of the talked about scenes from the movie. For us, it's probably one of the most talked about events in our life, because planning this shoot was a ridiculous amount of planning went into this, because we had to shoot in separate exit pools.
So that pool is a different pool to that
exactly.
pool.
So the exit pool for the ride itself is quite small. The exit pool we wanted to land in, we wanted to be huge, so we could get this big Jaws-esque sequence. So I mean that's involved,
one pool. That's a different pool.
There you go. So we just wanted scale. And again, this is one of those moments where people were like, "Can't you just do it in the small pool?" Because we're not sure we can pull this off. But they did pull it off.
And shooting down the tube was a different day and a different cameraman, and obviously the top of the ride was a different thing altogether. So it was a pretty big old deal. This and this was. We talked about this as the humanity of the monster. These close-up shots. All this was quite sort of late
That was on the day. Everything
On the day,
we had. Ian had been to see. What was it? Nosferatu?
I think of the BFI. So that's another reference for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite funny because when we were making this film, I called my son up. We were in Australia, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're making this film," and he said, "What's it about?" I said, "Well, it's sort of grown-up stuff. We won't be able to see it." And he went, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Has it got poo in it?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not allowed to say." He goes, "Doesn't matter. Is there wee in it?" I was like, "Well, how's he seen the script?"
Yeah, there is. It's embarrassing.
So I've made a film my children could enjoy, but they'll never be allowed to see because obviously it's too rude.
I didn't swim with any dolphins, Si. And if you keep telling lies about me, I'm going to have to bring up your mum's hairy face again.
Oh.
All right, calm down.
Here he is, the dolphin.
You all right, Jay?
Everything's ruined.
What's up? Is it your tight
Tight foreskin joke. I like that one.
Set up again.
No, lay off it for
Yep.
a week. It'll get better.
She's gone.
The foreskin. Oh, right.
Jane.
I should have never bought her that wee fit. She said she wanted to lose a bit of weight, and I was just
Don't
trying to
buy someone a wee fit.
Yeah.
So Peter Andre there staring at us. This scene, it was not the best location. It was quite noisy. It was quite windy. There was lots of paparazzi around. It was just a sort of kind of difficult place to be shooting. It's very hot. Again, all these scenes in Australia, even the stuff that wasn't in the desert, it was in the 30s a lot of the time. So this is kind of 30s humidity. And when we were shooting in the Gold Coast, they did us a favour making us start at 4:30 in the morning because about 5 every single day there'd be an incredible storm. A sort of tropical storm would come in, thunder, lightning, the sky go dark, and then it would clear out. And actually you can see, if you look at the wind in the trees and stuff here, and the wind in the hair, it's just coming in. It's just like, are we going to get this scene finished before the most incredible torrential storm starts?
I think this
And
was
the
probably
answer was
that.
yes.
Yeah, it was that night, wasn't it? The huge storm. I mean, we had to drive back to where we were staying on Broadbeach, and you just had to pull over and stop. All the traffic stops because the rain's that intense that you can't. It's too dangerous to drive.
And just over the back of this, you can see the Village Roadshow Studios where they were filming Unbroken, the Angelina Jolie film, at the same time. So
I saw her
we
one
were
day.
we were second best.
I saw her through like a little gap in the.
Oh, right, you were looking through a gap in a hedge.
Yeah, I was. As we were
on-
driving by, and I could just
Okay,
see
so you were
her
driving by
in
and
the
you were
hat,
spying
looking
on-
elegant and
Oh, right.
beautiful.
And were you masturbating at the time, or did you masturbate later?
No, she's you wouldn't masturbate. She's more kind of like, I don't know, angelic.
I can't
almost.
believe you wouldn't masturbate. Come on, mate. You're staring through a hole in the bushes, Angelina Jolie. What are you doing? What are you doing that for?
I was masturbating.
Okay, all right, now we're on.
So this is what can we say about this scene?
Car park at the Actual Arts Hostel again.
There's one of those vans that we were talking
Yeah,
about
there's
earlier.
loads of them.
That's a
Again,
Tame Impala van.
Tame Impala, band I'd never heard of. So I spent a long time claiming it was a different band.
Yeah.
But they are everywhere. Actually, that isn't a prop van. That's just a van that was parked there. So,
Also, we'll say about the Arts Factory Lodge Hostel is that as we were doing research for the film, you'd start to ask people without letting them know what we're doing, but I'd sort of like find out if people had done any travelling in Australia. And everyone that spoke to me that had done the east coast of Australia, who'd been up and through Byron Bay, knew this place. It's iconic, and most of them had stayed there.
and it is totally. Every night they've got some amazing thing going on. Every day there's stuff going on. If you just want to know, they've got a great swimming pool. It's so close to the beaches and the town centre.
I'd say your tolerance for bongos has got to be quite high.
Yeah, you've got to have quite a high bongo tolerance. But apart from that,
Ben Wheeler, our DOP, stayed there with his wife.
yeah, he did. He stayed there when he went travelling years ago. But this is a kind of replica of the internet area there. But I would say, if you are thinking about going travelling on the east coast of Australia, stay at the Arts Factory Lodge Hostel in Byron Bay. It is, well, certainly
Just
go
go
there.
and go to Byron Bay. Byron Bay
Bay's
itself
a
was
joke.
unbelievable. Yeah, it's a joke. Because when we got there, I mean, there is quite a lot of, it's got quite a sort of young hippie vibe, and there are a lot of people who are there who are just sort of dropping out for a bit and playing bongos on the beach. And when we arrived, I did think to myself, a bit like the boys when they arrive at the bar, Jesus Christ.
Well, we had
what
a
is
thing,
this
didn't we,
place?
where I just mentioned Adam Negatis there, who is plays Pete. He's kind of brilliant, I think. And then he was in Happy Valley, which we both loved.
I'm not going to tell you what happens to him.
No, but
You should go and watch Happy Valley, though.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Happy Valley, you need to watch Happy Valley. It's amazing.
Again, it's about 18 months ago. But
Yeah, it was on TV 2 years ago. But no, Byron Bay, we got there, and we'd all booked in for Christmas rather than coming home. And Ben Wheeler's family were coming out, and we just got there. And the people in a drum circle playing bongos on the beach. It was our first stop in Byron, and Ben was like, he looked ashen faced. He literally was like, he's like, my wife is going to kill me. I've forgotten what it was like here. I'm dead. And of course, actually, it was lovely and wonderful. They had a great time.
She's at a stud farm, then she'll have her pick.
Stud farm? A little stud farm joke for all fans of puns on the word stud. Stud. There's a word that's spelt. So you guys in that conversation with about words in English that are spelt the same that mean two different things.
Oh God, it
that
sounds so
you?
boring. It could have been, but
I
switch
was
off.
that.
I would have switched off.
No, but someone else brought it up. Someone was like, I think there's a word in English that has two different meanings that's spelt the same.
There's
And I was
lots.
oh, well, are there lots? There was one. Well, stud. Yeah, we've got that one now because of me.
Yeah, there are. I don't know whether it's going to be the most valuable use of everyone's time if we go.
No, but come on, we're an hour.
We're going to do the Guardian crossword as well in a minute, so don't worry.
We're an hour and 2 minutes in.
Oh, we're an hour.
one-
We've gone past the hour mark. No one's listening. This is brilliant.
That's what I
Here we
mean.
go.
Basically,
All right.
no one, if anyone's still listening, they'll be interested because now they've got something else to do for the rest of the half an hour. They're like, they
Yeah.
can now also be thinking about words.
If
in
you
English.
are still listening, you can. If we're still on Twitter at that point, if we haven't been taken off it, you can tweet us some words that have double meanings in
spelt
English.
the same. Spelt the same.
Spelt
in
the
English.
same as well.
Spelt the same mean two different things.
Yeah, okay.
Stud. There's another one like it's not
There we
where.
go.
It's something
The
like.
grow up.
Can't remember.
The grow up chat.
So
It's funny. It's funny when they fight, isn't it?
yeah, on this film, sort of the first time we tried a bit of improvisation occasionally, and these two guys, you let them sort of go for a bit, and to be honest with you, you mostly cut it out.
We've cut it
But
all
we-
out. I mean, these are all entirely the
It's
lines.
the lines. But if you're on the DVD and you must be quite. If you're listening to this, you must be so bored of this DVD.
You've already
seen
seen them.
this stuff, the improv stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. I liked it.
It's brilliant.
Simon Bird sea kayaking here. So how we filmed this was it's just coming up now, but how we filmed it was we put Simon Bird in a boat and tried to drown him basically, and after about an hour he was like, I'm quite tired and it's getting quite dangerous, and we're like, yeah, just one more, Simon. And then, so how we get him?
We'd not written many stunts for him since the bung
Yeah.
off episode where we discovered that even just going on a roller coaster made him pass out and vomit.
Yeah.
So
That's Thorpe Park episode, but yeah.
yeah,
But it's
sorry,
all this.
what's about, yeah.
So when he gets hit by the waves here, and he looks like he's drowning. How he did that was we got him hit by waves and looked like he's drowning. That's him doing it.
that is him doing it.
That's him doing that.
Enjoyed that, to be fair.
I got up there and I was going to do it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't look very safe. And then actually in the back there you can see all the crew vans as well. So.
I love this track, the Palmer Violets.
Yeah, Palmer's brilliant,
Brilliant.
isn't it? Rattlesnake
There you go.
Highway, I think it's called.
Coming up, the funniest word known to man.
Oh, wobble bob.
There it is. A wobber bob bob.
Always gets a laugh.
I said, what time is it now?
Mate.
No, you fucking
Fucking
didn't. You
him.
said a wobble bob.
Are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, fine.
This is also the Gold Coast, just south of Brisbane. I mean, I can't really
Look at that.
say enough about how
sunlight.
beautiful
I know.
Australia is.
I know.
This is a stunning country. Wobble. So, this tent scene, which is coming up,
You can talk about this.
I can talk about this. This is based on a Temazcal, which is a ceremony, a sort of South American, Central American cleansing ceremony. And we went on holiday, my wife and I, to a hotel in Cancun, and they had a Temazcal, which is a wooden pyramid with fire stones in the middle. And I thought it was like a sauna. And what it actually was like the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me. So before we were allowed to go into it, we had to stand on the beach and cleanse the area with sound, which involved me and my wife and another couple shaking maracas while a woman blew a horn. And I don't know, the 100 people sitting in sun lounges on the beach, turning round and staring at us and wondering why are those people shaking maracas. And
What
then
did
I
you
had
think it was? I can't imagine
I
you
thought it was like
signing
a
up for this.
really good sauna. I was it's like an hour and a half. I was like, oh, it's like an hour and a half sauna. It's going to be really good. And then, because they had like, massages and stuff and a
Yeah.
facial.
Yeah.
And it was on the same list. It wasn't like, oh, by the way, and there's this other thing, which is the most mental thing that ever happened to you. Anyway, and I'm not great at expressing my feelings at the best of times. So anyway, so you had to crawl in while people are still watching us. And 'cause it was like a rebirth thing. And as I was doing that, this sort of English bloke, some like posh English bloke in shorts came along and sort of walked up. And the shaman who was there, she was like, sorry, this is a religious thing. Can you not? And the guy's like, no, it's okay, no, carry on. She's like, no, you're on the spaces, we've cleansed the space. And he's like, no, it's fine, don't worry. And he's just like looking in as I'm crawling in. I was like, oh, God, this is getting worse. Anyway, so we sat there and we start off with, throw negativity onto the fire. What negativity do you want to throw on the fire? And comes to me first and I say, negativity. And the woman says, yes, which one? And I was like, don't know. And then it went round and other people threw other stuff. And then it came around to me again and I said, pass. And then the last time I was like, no, sorry, I haven't got one. And then the people we were in there with, My wife now is stifling laughter. The other people we were in there with were going, "It's okay, Ian. We're here to support you." Bring it out. I was like, please, shut up. So in the end,
What came out? Did any?
No, I lay down. I
line-
literally. Also, I'd been drinking loads of water. There's this big bucket of water next to me, and I was just constantly drinking because it was so hot in there. And after about 10 minutes, the woman went, "That's not for drinking. It's for throwing on the fire." I was like, "Oh, okay, I've just drunk a bucket of water."
But you didn't have a spiritual moment then?
No, I didn't. I just bailed out of it. At the end, I was like, "Please, just let me." I was like, "I don't feel that connected. Do you mind if I lie down and don't take part?" And they're like, "No, it's fine. As long as you stay in here." Because I couldn't get out. I couldn't get over these terrifying fire stains. And yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't. I've had better days. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had better. Because also this whole thing was like, oh, you run out at the end of it, and you run out and you dive into the sea, and it's amazing because you've been in this sauna for an hour and a half. And then you. And the truth is,
you're wearing clothes, right?
Yeah, I was wearing clothes, but yeah, I was wearing clothes. And then I did that, and I was like, okay. And then he came back, and they made us put these white robes on. So again, we're standing. There's like 100 people on sunbeds. I'm like, oh come on, please let this be over. We're just like staring and laughing as we're standing in these weird white robes. So
cheap as well, I'd imagine, was it the Temescal ceremony?
It was. I mean, I don't know. It was the same as a massage or something, but it was just. They were like, when we came out, they were doing a tequila tasting like next to it, so people were sort of drunk, and I'm sweating and running out. And anyway, use the pain, like all good writing. Use the pain, and here it is.
And our shaman, Abigail Thor, she was brilliant.
She was great. She was good friends with Lucy Cohu actually, so they had a good laugh
out.
in the tent, which was nice. Excuse me. I throw
anger onto the fire.
Yeah.
Stephen.
Infidelity.
Oh, will you just...
There's their little story.
That's Tom. We flew him over from Australia, didn't we, to film that scene in the UK? That was probably his only line in the UK.
I didn't mean to ruin it.
Oh, no, you didn't.
He stood up and walked off at the beginning.
Yeah. And he did, in a deleted moment, collected his wife Nikki after
that's right.
Neil had his arm around her.
Yeah, we sort of changed their story a bit.
Changed the story. Turns out Neil fucked her.
I think she's really good at this, Emily. She's really believably sort of nice. And I think you kind of go, oh, yeah, that is... Well, it has been a total idiot. It's not really her fault. She's just... That's what she's like. And he's tried to believe that she'd be something else, or that she's... Again, I said, like, some sort of salvation for him.
She used him a little bit, though, didn't she, to get
to get back in bed,
jealous.
of course. Oh, yeah, she did that as well, yeah. There's that, yeah. Okay.
But...
Quick chat about the tattoos. Love never dies. Life never dies. Sorry, life never dies. You made that one up.
Love sometimes dies, Ian.
No, not
you
for
of
me,
all
mate.
people should know that.
It's true, I should. The death of love.
There you go. Here's your guitar, mate. Thanks.
Thanks
very much.
Brad there, lovely fella. Brad from Tasmania. He can be such a tease.
Tease. We've run out of steam now. We're just going to do the lines.
Yeah, if we just do the lines ourselves. The interesting thing about the Arts Factory Lodge as well is so you can take a tent there and you can hire, you pay to pitch it. But also there are tents that have been there for years and years and years. They're kind of semi-permanent, so you sort of buy a tent off someone and the pitch, and so you don't really need a tent. You can just kind of live in these tents. That's an interesting thing. I mean, quite boring, but there are people who've been living there. Actually, the guy
we met a guy, didn't we?
Playing the bongos earlier.
He showed 8 years, I'm guessing. It was something. It's been there a long time. 3 years.
3 years, and he had this beautiful tent, and it's
Am I
incredibly.
right in thinking Korean? I thought he said he was Korean. Anyway,
maybe.
Yeah.
But he had this sort of vegetable patch, and he had these 2 tents. He had like 2 rooms. It was really clean and lovely. We met another guy, English guy. He basically had an old sofa and a horrible chest of drawers in his tent, and had been there 9 months. And so some people sort of slightly Hotel California, the Arts Factory Lodge hostel. They check in, but they never. You see where I'm going with this? They never.
Wearing beads, talking about one love, and
They never. They never leave.
Heading back to your parents' 5-bedroom house in Surrey doesn't make you a spiritual person. It makes you a bellend.
Bellend?
I think you're right about his song, Katie.
Oh, fuck off, Ben. You don't believe in songlines.
so coming up. Well, actually, it's not coming up. But we originally wrote this scene, and as Will storms off, he returns.
Yeah.
Takes the guitar off of Freddie, and then smashes it on the rocks.
Smash on the Rocks. And the first screening we did to about 40 people, one of our editors, Charlie, who's wonderful, said he overheard someone going, I bet he smashed the guitar. So we lost all confidence in it, cut it out, and then the last week we put it back in again, and everyone was like, "We love it. We love the guitar bit. You got to have the guitar bit. The guitar bit's great." But by that point,
our brilliant head of sound, Bob Newton, he watched it for the first time at that last screening, and then I saw him again when we were doing the final sound on the movie, and he was like, "Tell me you left the guitar in. It was brilliant."
and then Prash Naik, who's the head of legal at Channel 4, brilliant man for many years, was like, "I love that bit. It's my favourite." Claudia Doherty, sorry. Very funny.
Oops, every single time, never fails to get a laugh from me is when she says, "Oh," when he unzips that belt. I love that.
Ooh.
Yeah, she made a very small part hilariously funny.
Yeah, very funny.
She's a genius.
Thanks for it. So, okay, so this is Mari. That's the pub we actually stayed in. You can see our rooms, if you're interested, just to the right of the pub on the wide. You can't see them for ages.
I mean, this is just...
So, Mari,
this is, again, one of those moments...
That's James Buckley's friend Ferg there.
Ferg, sitting in the background.
Who's from Essex, who came out
an incredible...
to the desert to see us.
I reckon Buckley's going to tell this story, but in
true.
his commentary, but listen to him about Ferg, who is a legend. But yeah, I mean, another moment where you just have to sort of pinch yourself and realise you're doing this for a job and for a living is when we got there. I mean, I'm never going to I doubt, go anywhere as spectacular and remote as that place. It was 9-hour drive to the nearest big city, really, wasn't it? Back to Adelaide. Just an incredible. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, really. It was sort of...
It was kind of mind-blowing. I mean, there's a moment we flew to Olympic Dam, which is, I think, the world's biggest open-cast mine, which is about 2.5 hours south of there, and I drove the 4 boys up, and there was a moment about an hour in, where just an hour of, like, no cars, nothing, that I thought, we've made a mistake here. This isn't how people make films. You don't actually go to the place where you would, if you broke down, you'd die. You don't let's say you shoot it in a studio in London. You don't actually go to the outback in 50-degree heat and actually shoot these things. This is a bit, and then I knew all these sort of trucks were following behind us. It was a kind of, I actually started laughing hysterically. I sort of lost it a little bit. It was slightly scary, and then just. Because everyone's so brilliant around you, they're like, okay, great, don't worry, fine, be fine.
They were brilliant. I must say, while we're on the support and the crew, the Australian crew. I mean, you go into these things with a little bit of trepidation, I think, because you're working with people that you don't know. We took our heads of department, but the rest of the crew were all sourced in Australia, or they're from New Zealand. And actually, there were still some Brits, weren't there, who were working out there? But they were unbelievably good. I mean, they worked tirelessly. But I think. This point, we got to the desert, and I think this is where they all thought secretly that we might wilt.
The Poms are going to get.
So we brought 2 medics with us, a load of medical supplies and water, obviously. But I think, to everyone's credit, mainly because we just got our heads down and didn't really... I mean, we were quite British about it, really. We just sort of got on and did it. And it weren't really... it was completely bearable, wasn't it? It wasn't that uncomfortable. They were surprised that we didn't...
You just had to drink. You just had to keep drinking a lot of water. Because, I mean...
we had people running up to us and literally putting straws in our mouth and sort of massaging our shoulders and holding fans in front of us.
I don't remember the massage of the fans.
No, we were in a very hot black tent, weren't we, on our own?
Yeah, it started about 45 the first day we shot this week. We shot for 7 days, I think. And the last day was 50. And the clouds come over and go very quickly. But when you see the clouds, it gets worse because that means there's humidity in the air. When it's drier, it's more bearable. But yeah, the coldest it was out there was 45 degrees centigrade, which is, by anyone's standards, quite hot. And there's a really funny thing when the wind starts up. You think, oh, lovely breeze. Oh, no, it's boiling hot. It's absolutely boiling.
It's like a hairdryer being blasted in your face.
Yeah.
And what are those things called? The little tornadoes?
The Willy Willies?
Willy Willies. They get these great... It gets so hot that obviously these tiny little tornadoes start up.
Yeah.
And they come flying across the desert. And at one point, it went straight... We had to stop filming because one of them nearly lifted up all the tents that were protecting the equipment and people...
Silk and everything.
Yeah.
So this is about half an hour behind our... About half an hour's drive from the Mari Hotel, which you saw earlier. So again, nobody really goes there, and it's just off the Birdsville track. So although we're saying it's the Birdsville track, it's near there, not actually there. But that is pretty much what the Birdsville track looks like. And yeah, I mean, if you broke down there, you without water you'd die in a day. Is correct in that heat. So they are in trouble. Uncle Jay sorts it again.
It did sort of... it fried your brains, didn't it, the heat? That was the thing. You kind of... you get to a point in a day, usually after lunch, when everything's on the verge of shutting down. So all your sort of like thought processes as well as your body. So
4 o'clock was it for me. 4 o'clock. People ask because really, when you're directing these sorts of things, people are professionals and people are brilliant. People have professional pride. So really, it will sort of happen without you. Like, your job is to kind of make sure you get the performances you want, but everything else is kind of, it's moving. You can't really stop it. It takes a massive effort really to go, stop, let's do something different. But what that really entails is people are asking you questions all the time. And about 4 o'clock was the time when people were asking me questions, and I'd be like, no, I can't. I don't really know. It's almost like you go, I don't even really know what a question is. But I know you're saying something to me. Why are you saying that thing out loud to me? Can't remember.
Also, when we filmed all of this stuff,
It's Shaky Graves, by the way.
We had to get a lot of material shot while we were out there, and we only had a finite amount of time. And one of the things we really wanted to get was this sort of the collection of shots that make up this montage of them looking for water, and we just didn't have enough time in the schedule, just because it was, we just didn't have the days. So on our day off, the boys really kindly agreed to come out with just a very light crew, like sound, camera, and a few people, and genuinely spent an afternoon getting hot and bothered looking for water while we filmed them. So they were above and beyond, I'd say. Yeah,
they did a good job there. This is Shaky Graves, who's a brilliant artist, I think. This is like a live version of one of the tracks. He's from Texas. There's a kind of hotness in it, but apart from him and the Palmer Violets, a lot of the music we used was Australian. We were looking for Australian bands and tried to use Australian bands as much as we could, really.
You can get Factor 8 so much these days, but I'd love a bit of Factor 8.
Yeah, shitty Factor 8.
And this is where Neil gets to run towards the mirage.
And they really do look like lakes. I mean, the weird thing about these mirages is it's the reflection in them that I find weird. Because it was just flat, but when you've got they sort of seem to reflect what's behind them. That's what makes you think, is it a lake?
I'll be seeing cool things like Optimus Prime banging Katy Perry, or Jay the size of a house, but all his fingers.
Imagine that.
Pretty cool things. Both of those are cool things.
I think Optimus Prime banging Katy Perry would be a pretty good thing to see, wouldn't it? I mean, that's got to be Transformers 5, isn't it? You can have that, Michael Bay. That's yours.
There he goes. It's a very funny run. We shot this many different ways, and it was a steady cam following him, and cut it many different ways. But the original idea was always this, and I think it gets funnier the further away he gets. I think it's because you've got the perspective of the boys as well, seeing that.
Yeah.
But he's doing a lot of funny stuff there with his face that unfortunately you never get to see unless you've got a DVD.
No, yeah, actually, Blake's watching this now for the first time in the other room, so I imagine he'll be thinking that same thing. He'll be like, wait a minute, I was seeing all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, you were, but nah, glippily.
Getting serious now.
Hot. I think it's not a great time to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it, which is that William Webb, who's our editor, so Charlie Fawcett's a brilliant editor we work with as well, and William looks after it all as well, and it sort of starts a bit before Charlie and ends a bit after Charlie. But William Webb, we talked about Patrick and Ben Wheeler being important, but really, I don't know how we'd have made this film without William, and how it had been delivered and how it would have looked and stuff, because there are all these sort of technical things that he does that we don't even know about.
Technically brilliant, and also just a sense of storytelling and joke telling. He's brilliant, and also, has to sit in a room with us for extraordinary amount of time, and he's got the patience of a saint.
He's got the patience of a saint. He can't have a sense of smell, because otherwise he never would do it. And he's also a man who manages to ignore our crushing negativity and just sort of keep the thing moving. So thank you, William. If you're somehow
if you
listening,
watch this, then,
you might just be you.
That explains that you're insane. Oh, he's insane. Turns out William was insane.
Yeah, it turns out insane. Okay, so
very hot there. I'd add, like the actual surface temperature, the sand that they're sitting on was boiling.
Oh, it's so hot,
burning, unbelievable.
It's like you almost can't. It's that weird thing I said about
it never looks as hot as it was.
It's that weird thing, like if you any other film, you'd be like, oh, they can't have gone somewhere hot. They just try and make it look hot. Like this is the thing with anything, it looks colder. And this is like Joe's the piss that Neil uses. Poor old Joe. It was actually hot. It was just because he'd been sitting outside for a little bit. It got very hot.
There it is. Late addition to that penis rig was the foreskin.
The foreskin, yeah, pop that on. We thought it looked good. It looked good.
Brilliantly. I mean, as always, Emma, who handles all the cocks, did a sterling job with all the prosthetics on this film.
Emma Scott, genius. Emma and Charlie.
Oh, there we go.
There goes.
This is a weird film, isn't it?
It's weird. They'll stop. Then it starts again.
Yeah.
Go to the stare.
Also, drink it. I mean, that's what you're there for. Open your mouth.
It looked a little bit acrid to me. That
I'd say when we were actually of all the things we filmed, I think maybe it was to do with the heat.
That was
but
the one
actually,
thing
that
that made
shot
laugh,
when we filmed that was the hardest not to laugh out loud.
Yeah. And then this,
the boys.
So they did a very long take of this, and we sort of decided to cut into it again with William. But I think.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if we played it in one take, the only reason we wanted to get in and be with them in their moments, the take's just slightly wider, but you could have used it from, as one take. Yeah. It was brilliantly done. And I think, I might have said this earlier, it's been a long journey with the four of them and us, and this scene at the end, and I didn't think we could have done a scene like this, no. 7 years ago.
No, certainly not on the TV either. I guess they're...
and it's a scene. They're doing something totally different to what they normally do. Everyone's out of their comfort zone here. We're in the middle of Australia in unbelievable heat.
Flies.
And I think I was so proud of them here. They come up with this performance for this scene. I mean, we do mock them relentlessly about the boo-hoo-hoos in this.
Boo-hoo is sad, boo-hoo.
If they'll never hear this, so they won't know. They won't know we were proud of them and we thought what they did was brilliant.
Yeah, so...
Don't tell them.
Again, all this quite early draft, this and the pull up to the sun at the end and the holding hands and all that, just... And again, I think it was...
Toy Story reference here.
Toy
Story 3, obviously.
Yeah. But there's an interesting thing, I think, of people, there were sort of rumours and stories going around that Neil died or one of them died in it, and I guess I was kind of thinking that it might be quite nice if people remember that and they got to this point and they thought, maybe they are going to die. The flies
were all real, not digitally added.
Not a digital fly in this film. No animals were digitally enhanced. No dolphins, no fly. No. Yeah, the fly thing was bad because Blake. They kind of pushed
because
away.
Blake stinks the most. He attracted the most.
He's like Sting of the Dump. He's like Sting of the Dump. That's a reference from a kid's book of 40 years ago. You probably still read Sting of the Dump, don't you, kids? There we are. But there's a Willy Coming up, actually.
Got one on camera. The Willy.
So here we go.
There we go.
Wait for it. Wait. There it is. That's Willy. That's a small one, though.
It's all about Willies, this film. Really.
It really is.
The Inbetweeners.
We assumed they were joking when they told us.
Made them take a crane out to the desert for this shot.
That was amazing.
I mean, obviously it looks... standard in terms of filmmaking terms. You see shots like this all the time. But again, logistically, getting a crane, it was hard enough to get a vehicle out there, wasn't it?
Getting a car there was quite hard.
Getting a car to drive out to where
Basically, getting us there was quite hard.
Yeah.
Getting human beings there was quite difficult.
I must say, I got there because I don't like flying and I didn't like the small planes. So I was driven there by our stunt coordinator, a guy called Harvey. Well, he's called Paul, but he will not respond to that.
Yeah,
he's Australian, so he just responds to his nickname. Half a man, and so he drove me and Lydia, who plays Jane, who's coming up, surely out there, and it was an unbelievably fun journey. I also came back with him and Ferg.
Yeah,
very hungover. Less fun, I'd say, but. Anyway, thank you, Harvey.
Now, there's Australia's favourite film, as voted for continually by Australians, is a film called The Castle, which is a really brilliant film about a family living under the flight path of an airport who think they're the luckiest people in the world, and then their homes can be taken from them and they fight it. And it's really lovely and also really funny. And one of the sons in it is played by Anthony Simcoe, who plays the Australian boss here. He's the guy that saves them. And he is a brilliant actor and an incredibly funny actor and a lovely man. And for him to play, to be honest with you, such a small part for us was a real thrill and a real treat. And I would recommend you look up both The Castle and Anthony Simcoe because it's great and he's great. So thank you, Anthony Simcoe.
So Lydia Rose Bewley there, playing Jane. I mean, she's just a beautiful person, isn't she? I love hanging around her. If you want a treat, watch her video diary because you'll get an insight into what
she was out there for a week on her own. Basically. We were shooting every day.
I think she got proposed to 7 times.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like blokes and her in the bar, and then the last day she came out and did this.
Come on.
So
This is quite funny because obviously the original plan was
Oh my
the
God.
Aussie farmer
Yeah,
would get
so
into
Anthony.
the ute, the pickup truck, and Anthony Simcoe would drive it off. And because he's he's a big strapping
6'4".
lad, 6'4", just wouldn't fit in that car. I mean, genuinely doesn't fit behind the steering wheel.
Fit behind the wheel. So we're like, okay, so Anthony, you just get in the car and just drive off. He's like, yeah, okay, fine. And then he came back and went, I can't do that. I was like, okay, why? I thought, like, my character wouldn't do that. Or he's like, can't get in it. I was like, come on. Went and had a look. Literally couldn't get in it. Could not fit into that ute.
But we must say, as we leave the desert, a big thank you as well to Phil and Maz,
Phil
who
and
run
Maz.
the hotel at Maury, and Andy,
the
who runs the
barman.
bar, he's a genius, and Travis, who is the cooking genius out there. But they looked after us.
Honestly, it's worth
Tremendously
going.
well.
It's worth going to Maury, to stay at the Maury Hotel, because it was, it's like being at home, but being, where it was 8,000, 10,000 miles from home.
I love you, Lucy.
It's a good roll of the eyes there.
Me and your best man, Pete, have been having sex. Good sex.
Good sex, unnecessary, doesn't need to add that.
Yeah,
Like when I said I'd
Fun will, I mean,
the film gets weird.
okay, all
We'll
right.
go with that.
That's the idea again, that, a little bit of backstory of their...
David Shaw, Jay's
Dave
dad.
Shaw. I'll go see Jay's dad in it again. Briefly saw him, of course, in the email sequence
Yeah.
of the hipsters, which that was my favourite bit. Is like, the only who's so cool, he was playing shit tricks on hipsters. They've all got beards and braces and stuff. So that's a bit I enjoyed.
But Pete said it would be better if we were.
Wait a minute, you're breaking up with me.
Yes.
So I'm single and now Pete has
Look
to
at
go
that
out
hair.
with you.
Yes, Simon.
There it is.
I mean,
I've had hairdressers when I've told them that, what we do in the Inbetweeners, who've gone, oh my God, I've got to have a word about that kid's hair.
I saw a bloke with hair like that the other day. I really did. I was like, what are you doing? Now, here he is. Greg Davis, the man mountain.
We talked about shoehorning in Alex McQueen earlier.
I
Here
know
he
it's a
is.
shoehorn. That's her plot. It's totally plausible. They're two single people about the same age.
Come on holiday to Australia.
Well, then they've come to, because they were missing, they've come to find them, haven't they?
Yeah.
Their kids, you fly over, the parents fly over. There's enough British kids have gone missing in the desert over the years that you can see the stories of the parents fly over and there's pictures of them going, oh, he's been an idiot.
We've booked a barrier reef tour.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to going
Diving, meaning muff diving, meaning cunnilingus.
Yeah.
Just for those people who need that clearing up. Now, these kisses are meant to be
We
really
asked Greg.
tender.
Imagine this is a really erotic scene from a romantic drama.
Yeah, and that was
That's
his
what he
best,
came up with.
That's his best kissing. Let's look at this. Look, that's what he thinks.
Do
is
the
like
best kiss you've ever done on a
Do the
lady.
Single at the moment. I don't know when this is going out, so he might not be anymore. So I better not say that. I have said it. It's out there.
No, after that.
So this punch was supposed to be like getting like Jay's, all the anger over his dad and everything over the years. He's going to get it out. Not quite. And I think, to be fair, audiences sort of got that. That it was like,
It's quite funny
Jay's
'cause-
redemption.
And because David's done so many tough guy roles over the years,
Yeah.
he knows a lot about sort of like on-screen grappling and that. So we kind of like had a fight coordinator, but he's pretty gung ho about it all, wasn't he? I think again, probably gave David Shaw a bit of a mauling there as well.
Yeah, God, it's all going up. So,
Should we go? It's getting a bit like my cousin's wedding.
Yeah. Well, again, doing his best kissing ever.
Do some more travelling. Heard Vietnam's nice. Anyone fancy it?
No, I'm in. I've still got some shit to sort out for the CIA there.
Of course.
so this is where we shot. Well, obviously it's outside Uncle Brian's house where we shot the tent and stuff during the day.
Girl's got a mate. I could set you two.
Hot and full of flies, mosquitoes.
Now, bad luck. Don't. No, you got to fuck a man with tits.
Name that place on the Gold Coast. I cannot remember.
There you go.
See the top half.
That's them. That's the Inbetweeners
And that-
driving off into the sunset.
There you go. In Excess, another Australian band. You might not have heard of them, but we picked this.
I think they're going to be big.
Yeah, that lead singer's really got something.
So
A heroin addiction.
this is that is it.
That's
That
it.
is the last time they drive off into the sunset.
That's it. And then
No more. Oh,
Here's a little bit.
there's a little bit more. Hang on.
That's Kimberley. This is
Kevin, we filmed this in, what was it, just outside Leighton
Buzzard?
Yeah.
the quarry in Leighton Buzzard. Don't kill goats, people. You can hire, I believe, goats and cows and stuff. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? That.
Yeah. They loved that as well, didn't they, the boys?
Oh,
With
they
the fire
absolutely
guns.
loved it.
Simon Bird actually got to fire a rocket launcher, but we didn't use that.
And then there's Pete. FM promises.
Off to Thailand, to Bangkok. Oh, met some girls. They seem very nice.
So
girls,
what we tried to do with this was get some men who had penises to dress up as ladies.
Yep.
But the 4 people that would do it were all kind of martial arts experts, and so they
didn't look very ladylike.
They didn't look very ladylike. So in the end, we went the other way, and we got the ladies to wear the penises. And this last one, you may be interested to know, is the uncircumcised version of the penis that Neil had in the desert. So
there you go.
That's what Neil's fake penis looks like. A little feel there. Okay.
Oh.
And what's next?
Back to the UK.
So again, a sort of little stitch back to the first film was the idea, a little reference to the first film. New hairstyles for all of them.
Hairstyles. We forget about that. I'm just watching this now. Yeah, of course.
The Band Brigade t-shirt. I should talk about the Pussy Patrol t-shirt in the first film. We deliberately tried to design something that's so horrific that people couldn't sell it as a t-shirt or people wouldn't buy it. And then sure enough, people did anyway.
Yeah.
And there's always knockoff versions of it. Like, okay. So I guess Band Brigade, will that work?
There we go. So that's where Neil meets up with Nikki.
Okay.
And
that story.
Yeah, that wasn't the original ending we had planned for Neil, but it's the one we thought made the most sense, really.
Yes. That's good. It's all getting roughed up.
Yeah. Poor old Bird. He got beaten up a lot, didn't he?
Yeah, a lot. So basically, Simon Bird's sprint off here. It's the eye.
It's another BDI. I love the BDI.
BDI here is that. That's the one you want.
There we go.
So this here, again.
2 BDIs in this movie.
These guys, genuinely.
Yeah.
Grabbing him.
They loved it. They went method on this. I think he came back with a nosebleed one time.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Totally unnecessary.
And then Morning Runner to finish it off.
Yeah, back where it all started.
So
these are some credits. Are we? What else can we tell you? Well, what have we forgotten to say about this movie?
Well, I just think it's like a weird stream of consciousness the whole from start to finish. It's been like
I've been holding on to
a wee
for quite some time now.
Well, that's good.
I was genuinely thinking, shall I just go out, let Ian carry on for a bit, and come back?
Okay, all right.
Didn't know.
So here's some of the songs.
Commenting on the credits is.
Well, okay. Then if anyone's still watching, thank you for still watching.
Yes,
but more importantly, thank you for the support you have clearly given the Inbetweeners over the years. It's been amazing. We have genuinely loved it, and we feel lucky and incredibly happy.
There you go. You should have been on there. All the fans really should have been on the thank yous.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. Couldn't put one of those on.
Hello.
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 We're back. The boys are back.
Boys are back in town.
Bow.
Why are we back together? Well, to make this very film.
To make this piece of shit.
Oh no! Come on, positive start.
Okay.
So,
remember how the first series it was all about, wasn't it? It was about realistic lives of teenagers.
Yeah. So many people would come
the
up to me and say,
mundane reality of real life.
When I soared over Bristol.
My school was like, yeah. Here we go. Look at this silly.
They made you wear those fucking uniforms, didn't they, at school? Jeez, and animals in the school. So many animals.
Yeah.
Lion. Fucking the school lion. Do you remember that? Oh, you couldn't pet him. Couldn't even bite your hand off. Fucking lion.
Joe Thomas, of course.
Joe Thomas, our first laugh.
First laugh in the film.
Joe Thomas
is his name.
Yeah.
No, but come on.
What we okay, so what's going on here?
We're back.
Let's
in the
be
film.
supportive.
In deepest, darkest.
Are we already getting cut off? No. Oh, there's my
We've had drinks arrive. Joe's coffee.
Thank you very much. That's a flat white.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
It's very professional.
Thanks
Full
very much.
fat Coke for Blake.
Okay.
There.
Here we are.
Okay, so
Here we go. Greetings, muggles. What's gone on here? This doesn't make sense. Well, you're going to be saying that a lot during this film.
But
so
we filmed this.
I just headbutted the microphone.
We filmed this scene twice, of course. The first time, everyone inside the house was in black tie. That's why when we bump into some people in a few seconds' time, they'll be in black tie.
They're in black tie. Then the actress in this first scene, can we say this?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
She got into Star Wars.
Yeah, she's going to be...
And she wasn't allowed to be in our little film anymore because she had better things to do. She did want to be in it. I think the wheels were set in motion. It wasn't really our fault.
It's a common theme, isn't it?
It's a common theme. People move
who
on.
are in this film who aren't us.
They
and
move
then have
on.
Successful
They go
careers.
to America. They become
Theo James from the first film.
heroes.
Big time.
Henry Lloyd Hughes plays Dublin is having a very good career.
Yeah. They're all doing very
they
well.
all do very well for themselves.
What are we doing now? Well, we're still here. Still doing this.
Still
Yeah,
here.
even more of these.
Joe, we did that.
3 years older.
Oh, what
I don't know when
chickens?
people have heard of Chickens.
Oh, hilarious.
The critical and commercial smash.
All right, listen, we're not here to talk about that.
No,
there's no need because nobody will understand what we're talking about.
I don't want to alienate the audience.
You're quite right.
That's fair enough.
Okay, so let's focus in now on the Inbetweeners.
We're all wearing wigs there, of course. So you're wearing a Hermione wig there, Blake, and
I've got a
Joe's
Ron
in his Ron wig, and Will is in a I think he is in a Will wig.
Yeah, that's what's confusing about that is that
It's not a Harry Potter wig.
It's not a Harry Potter wig, although because the other two boys are wearing wigs, you think it is
I've got
a wig.
two now. Sorry,
Rolf Harris there in the background running through.
Guys, just to update you,
Not the
I've
real
got two. I've got my second coffee's arrived.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm mainly using this commentary to order drinks.
James, tell us about filming this.
It was really, I mean, I don't want to spoil the magic for people, for the viewer, but it was really difficult.
And that's your actual penis, right?
That is a smaller version of my actual penis.
Yeah.
But this house was amazing that we filmed in. I really wanted to live there. It was a big mansion. It had like a huge underground parking bit, which was the main bit that I liked about the house. I walked away thinking, God, wouldn't it be handy to park your car under your house? You could get loads in.
That's the dream, isn't it? Under.
That is,
Not
yeah.
by the side or out the front, under.
So anyway, this is all one shot, or as close to being one shot as possible, which, as you know...
I hadn't actually noticed that painting behind you before.
That's
What, are
me.
you having
That's
sex
Jay.
with a tiger?
That's Jay fucking a tiger.
There's more bestiality in this film than there were in any film at all that was made before.
Including sort of like
including films that have animal porn films.
Yeah. Anyway, this was very stressful few days of my life trying to do this because...
Okay, who are the Australians there?
The Australians there, Hugh Jackman. Right, Mel Gibson.
But dressed as Braveheart.
Dressed as Braveheart. Alright, so I brought that up when I was having my makeup done. I was like, I think that's a bit of a strange reference. I don't think, like 15-year-old kids are going to get that. I don't think people realise that Mel Gibson's Australian, and also I don't think that people will know why Braveheart, a Scottish person, is sitting at an Australian table.
Also, they've got about a quarter of a second, maybe, to...
That's it, yeah. So it doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
And that's what they said to me.
Doesn't matter.
But, yeah, this was difficult.
They're real koalas, aren't they?
They are,
James?
yeah.
They're real.
They were real, but
they're rescue koalas, aren't they? They've been rescued. And,
yeah, they've been rescued. But
they
obviously,
were particularly cute ones. They were especially cute.
They were, yeah. I think you're trying to make a joke, but I mean, obviously, seriously, I couldn't.
Koala bears.
I couldn't kick a live koala bear because it'd move out too much. So I got the koala bears, killed them prior.
Yeah.
Then punched and
tortured them to death, didn't you? In the end, that was the preferred.
Just a little bit of starvation and
ripped out their
waterboarding.
fingernails.
Raped them to death.
No, I didn't rape them actually.
No,
they were up for it.
Wouldn't. It's not worth my while.
It's consensual. They were.
Oh no!
The other
Seriously,
way around.
no koalas were harmed. I assume. I don't know. I assume they weren't.
No, yeah, you have to say that, didn't you? Because there will be.
Because
some
otherwise, people are like, "Oh God,
idiot."
Yeah. All right. So now, where are we now?
Pub.
A pub in Bristol.
There we are. So we've done that. So back onto the random inane ramblings.
Free to hang out with anyone and everyone.
So yeah, you're making the point of the wig. So it is confusing. So in the first scene, the characters are in wigs.
Yeah. Let's not draw too much attention to
all right. Yeah.
But I think the idea
Very
is
confusing.
that Will's grown his
It's a
hair.
riddle.
It's as simple as that.
It's grown his hair.
I spent a lot of time with Lucy, although...
Your quiff has survived under that Ron wig pretty well.
It has survived very well, hasn't it? And I tell you, it's also survived the passage of time. You would think that, seeing as it's the idea is he's got it because everyone's got it and it's fashionable.
2014.
It's 2014. No one else has now got it.
Yeah,
So you would think it's very weird.
It survived fashion.
It survived fashion. Yeah.
There's the balls there.
What was smeared on your balls?
What was smeared on my balls was a combination of butter and tuna,
Yeah.
which the dog Buster seemed to absolutely love.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah, and that's just
my legs
coincidence, really.
smelt quite fishy for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being
They did.
Not because of that.
an unclean hoe.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Oh, no, please, Lucy, that's my favourite.
Hoe business. No business.
No business. I don't know whether you've seen the recent Alan Carr, but
By recent we mean a year ago.
well, yeah.
Well, it depends when you watch it.
Yeah.
Depends whether it makes it the final cut of the Alan Carr show that we happened to film last night. That is now irrelevant.
I am
So obviously-
so full up. We just had some.
We had a good.
We had lobster rolls.
lovely
rolls.
lobster.
James,
Oh, that's
you had
good.
two,
Oh, there
didn't
it
you?
is.
Oh, there. Speaking of lobster,
Oh, that was good.
there is.
That was in my rider from
version of a crustacean.
No, the only reason I wanted to do this film was so that a dog could lick my balls. So
Yeah.
that's good. Got that in there. It's one of those kind of tick off the list before you're 30 things.
You've got a stand-in for every. You've got a face stand-in. The only bit of you that's real is the balls.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
the only bit
yes.
of Blake Harrison that's actually in this film.
Here we go.
Complete body double, face double.
This is
but
a strong prank,
total
This
isn't it?
is
balls.
yeah.
This is
This
pretty
is
strong.
this is
Alright.
classic Inbetweeners though. I mean,
Yeah.
they all did that at university, didn't they?
How long would that take, do you think, to do? That's taken a good 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours.
Realistically,
Realistically. They put a good 3 or 4 hours into that.
can't be done.
Australia. And surprise the fuck out of Jay.
I was joking.
Gaffer tape is wonderful stuff. I don't want to, get up Gaffer tape's arse or
Yeah.
anything,
No,
but
too late,
or
but
inside
carry
the
on.
tube.
Yeah.
I don't want to have my penis inside a tube of Gaffer tape right now.
Right, why have you...
Well, that's just left over from before.
What do you mean a tube of gaffer tape?
A tube.
What, like toothpaste?
Yeah, you can squeeze it out, don't you?
Like,
It's wonderful stuff. Very. Again, it's wonderful stuff.
Minty fresh.
Minty Gaffer tape is minty fresh. If you're going on a date,
Ah,
Just
a little
a-
hint there. Has Will been learning the guitar? I don't know, you have to ask me later.
has he been learning it? Yeah.
Virgin?
Virgin
Yes.
Atlantic.
Virgin,
yes,
our
of
corporate
course.
partners.
Yes,
Thanks,
absolutely.
guys.
Thank you, Virgin. Shortly after this film was made, they actually stopped doing the flight that we went on to Australia that they paid for. I think probably because we bankrupted them by eating too many of the snacks and drinking the minibar dry.
Well, I think that's more to do with the directors.
They might have had a few nuts.
I'd say so.
Yeah, a couple of, one or two, or three. So parents, It's Will's mum, sexy Will's mum. Of course,
There you
she's a
go.
MILF.
See everyone again, wasn't it?
We all know
Alex
about
and
that.
Belinda.
Alex and Belinda. We know she's sexy. We know he's funny. He's a funny bald man.
A lot of people tweeting me saying that Alex McQueen looks like Iron Robin.
Okay.
Personally, I don't know that I see it, but that's one of the...
massive. It's not a
I think-
fantastic spot.
Yeah, I think
No,
that,
I
I
don't
think
think so.
I think that's baldest.
Yeah,
I don't think you're allowed
it
to
is.
generalise.
Yeah, they don't all
like
look
that.
similar.
He looks
No.
like, what is it? The Hood out of Thunderbirds.
No.
Is that the name of him?
Like, oh, what? Ian Morris looks like Iron Robin as well. It's pathetic.
Iron Robin has got a bit more hair.
We went to see a show at the Sydney Opera House.
We did.
When we were in Sydney. We
The
went-
Illusionists 2.0, I believe
Yeah,
it
we
was
did,
called.
yeah.
It was
We went to
Magicians.
the second half of a children's.
It's good. The Magicians all had names like the Immortalizer.
Yeah, what I like to hope, I sort of created a little backstory in my head about the Illusionist 2.0,
Okay.
and I was hoping that that wasn't what the show was called, but what the group was called. You know, like
No.
they are like the Mysterion and things like this, but collectively they're what are they called?
The Illusionists.
The Illusionist
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah,
But what I
yeah.
like is that maybe one illusionist from the
Avengers
original
Assemble, or-
the
yeah.
original illusionists
Yeah.
just sort of like left, and like there was it was some bad blood.
Yeah.
Some legal people got involved.
It's like the Beach Boys. It's not really the
Yeah,
original members anymore.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to call. Well, you're not allowed to call yourselves the illusionists because you're not. All right, well,
Yeah.
2.0.
Fine, we're gonna fucking do this. We're not gonna back down on this. The Illusionist 2.0.
Yeah.
Well done for your hollow legal victory.
But I mean,
Anyway.
that's just something I created in my head.
Where did we film this?
That's right.
Was this at a?
Ministry of Sound.
Ministry of Sound.
It's exactly the same club
Always in Ministry
as
of Sound.
Fernando
I'm
did
down
his
there every night,
dance in
mate.
the
I go there
first
for
film.
breakfast, mate,
Yeah.
because I'm already there.
That's an interesting.
Start
Actually,
Googling.
Blake's just touched on something interesting rather than
Go
us
on.
talking about.
Well, it is the exact same club as Fernando did his penis sucking in the first film.
Do you know what, Blake? Shut the fuck up.
Fuck off, Blake.
Okay.
What do you think this is?
Well, I'm
Some sort of
trying-
opportunity to kind
guys,
of
to try
enhance
and enrich
people's enjoyment of the
guys,
film.
Yeah,
by-
guys, exactly.
Guys,
It's trivia. Oh.
Okay, so James just farted. So if
Back
you
on
have,
song.
smell-o-vision on your TV, prepare for that.
on your
Turn it off now.
Turn it off. Turn that bad boy off.
Just dial it down a bit, or
Oh,
change
okay.
the contrast a bit. You know, put the pork count down a bit.
Personal note, I've decided to, I've got to have some sort of dental work done.
Okay.
My teeth just look like one of those Joe Costin Powers teeth you get all over the place.
I don't think I've ever noticed before.
None of us have got great
they are.
teeth. I mean,
They're a bit raggedy, aren't they?
Yeah, they've gotten worse. They've moved a lot since the first series.
if we want to really push things in America, we're
Quite
going to have to get
nomadic
our teeth
Yeah.
sorted out.
Wait, we cracked America, didn't we? with the
Oh, we've
first
cracked
film?
already, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah. How much did we earn?
$38,000, mate.
Whoa,
Something-
boy!
I mean, well, you know.
Don't sniff at it.
Wouldn't kick $38,000 out of bed, so thanks very much. I'm laughing. Land of the free. I will take that money. What? It doesn't even pay for the cost of the tour.
In fact, don't we owe them money?
Leave that.
Don't
Forget
remind
about
him, mate.
that Californian Chardonnay was delicious. And sorry about ordering quite so much of it. While I was there. So,
there's Neil's famous bag, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking
We had a bit of fun with that, didn't we? Well, you didn't, but we.
No, I hated
we
that
enjoyed
bag.
it.
Threw it around.
The directors only kept that bag because they knew how much it wound me up in the first
and that was a
film.
good decision,
Yeah.
and I respect that decision, and I respect them for doing that.
They're fine men.
You're not
Good
allowed to.
men. I think you should have had to wear a fucking hair shirt.
You're not allowed to wind the directors up though.
It's all
It's all very well them
medieval
writing in. Them writing in little.
Well,
We had some
gags
fun
about.
with the directors, didn't we?
We
on
can
this
wind them up a
film?
bit.
Well, listen, don't you're not allowed to.
In a way,
couldn't possibly say anything
the
about
most
the
effective way
directors,
that
the
I have-
precious directors, and their little film. Oh, don't be negative about the film.
Mustn't say anything about the precious film.
No, we teased.
We're
we teased the directors
joking.
a
We
lot.
love the film. We love each other and all men.
Well, basically, the directors put themselves in a sticky position, in that they're obviously the writers. They've written the show since the beginning, and it's all their ideas, and they're good. They're all
How
right.
is this a commentary? We're just not even watching.
I'm talking.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologise.
I'm just letting them know about all the fun we had teasing them, and you know, a lot of it was just saying how bad they were at their job.
But it was
also,
the first time they directed,
it
wasn't
was the first time they directed, so we thought, you know, we'll take the piss out of that.
I mean, us saying that.
Yeah,
they're bad at their
people
job.
in glass
People in
houses.
glass houses. Yeah, I mean,
no,
let's not forget the most effective way of winding them up is just the performances that we were turning in. That they had to sift through at the end of every day, like people sifting through shit in the deluded hope that there might be a diamond in the shit.
Is that what you've been doing this whole time?
What's that?
When you do your lines,
It's a
you do
big
it-
joke, mate.
You're just winding
it's
everyone.
A wind up.
I thought it
I'm a
was.
fantastic actor, and I do loads of other things. I do loads of other work,
Right.
and this is just a joke.
Oh, that's right, because you're huge in Iceland.
In
aren't you?
Iceland, all the islands, Greenland, Bermuda, really big in Bermuda, Baffin Island, of course, one of the larger Arctic islands.
Shetlands?
Oh, Shetlands! Don't even get me started. Can't go anywhere in the Shetlands now. It's a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
We should introduce, of course, Emily Barrington.
Emily Barrington, the barrister. Who's representing you in court? My barrister.
Emily.
Emily.
Thereof.
Emily Pint thereof. No, that is just a quote from The Office, pure and simple, and not in any way worked in.
No, completely out of context.
Totally out of context.
Should we talk about The Office for a little bit?
Oh,
Yeah, it's good, isn't
my
it?
God.
It's so good.
It's perfect.
I wish I was in The Office.
Thank you for making that. It was, at one point, the only thing in the world that I liked.
Okay.
Anyway, crack on.
Back to this.
I met loads of them at uni. Have you? Well, I met one, then Lucy.
What's happening here then?
I don't fucking
Oh,
know.
here you go.
Oh, so where did we film this? We filmed this in
Floripa.
Shoreditch, didn't we?
On
Yeah,
old,
in
the old,
London.
old ditch. Old ditch. Old ditch.
In old
ditch.
This is a day where.
If there are any Americans watching, that's the sort of street
Oh,
name we have in
James, you were
England.
really-
Old
James-
ditch.
Violently sick.
James was really ill.
Very, very ill on this day.
However, James was perfectly fine to after I'd mopped up a bunch of liquid on the table to try and run things along a bit quicker and help everyone out. James just picked up his bottle of beer and poured it all over the table in front of me, and I called him a fucking moron.
Yeah, it was a good.
Yeah.
It was a good moment.
It was a juxtaposition of a day for me. Does that make sense? It was. It was juxtaposed to like the fact that I was so ill. I was really ill. I had some sort of bug. I was vomiting, and but I still got so much pleasure in pouring beer over the part of the table that Blake had just cleaned. And Blake got so angry.
He really did.
I felt like the father of a 2-year-old.
Can I just cut in before she goes completely? Is there something of Nappet about this lady? Jessica Nappet, first film.
Missed it. It's gone, mate. It's gone.
Okay,
Next.
I missed the opportunity.
Next.
4 men on a tent.
Okay, we find ourselves in Australia.
4 men in a tent.
Wait a minute. Jay, I thought you said you were living in a mansion and you were fucking models and that you were a premier DJ.
Yeah, I mean, don't...
You were.
Oh, is David Field, who you may also know from Chopper.
But basically, we know him from
Australian.
every single Australian film ever made.
A wonderful actor.
Yeah.
We were scared of him.
Intimidatingly good.
He was great.
Because he was professional.
He was a professional. He'd done so much work.
Yeah.
He was respected.
Yeah.
I assume multi-award winning. We were frightened of him because we...
I wasn't frightened of him. I got on really well with him.
You're hard. You're hard, though.
No, I wasn't. Listen, I wasn't like...
You're hard.
I wasn't intimidated.
Hard?
Yeah,
Was
you're
I
hard. You're hard, man. You don't get scared of people.
no, I don't get scared of actors, that's for sure. But,
Yeah.
But he is in a whole range of Australian films.
He's in loads.
We were basically shitting ourselves around him the whole time because we knew he was better than us.
And he's Australian.
And he's hard as well.
Yeah.
He's not hard.
Well, yeah.
I'm offering him out right now.
Yeah?
And I know you're listening to this, David.
It's interesting you've waited till he's on the other side of the world until you've...
He's not coming to the premiere, is he?
well,
it might be.
well,
I'm sure
depends.
this will get over to him
maybe
if
if
he
we
is.
can
Okay,
get,
well,
you know, one
David, that was just a joke.
It was banter.
That was just a joke.
We would never do anything to hurt you or to compromise you in any way or even inconvenience you.
Yeah.
In fact, if you need any money...
Oh my gosh, think of the bands.
That was an interesting house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just, I say interesting, just in that it's different from a British house. It was just quite... Well, no, it was nice, wasn't it? That sort of that patio and the whole look, it all adds to the film.
They love their bungalows out there, don't they?
Yeah, bungalows.
And
Ever
why
heard of a
not?
second floor?
Well, there's plenty of room. So in a way, why build up if you can build out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's your sort of...
That was my motto for
Life.
my body
Why
shape.
build up when you can build out?
It's Ian Morris's motto as well, of course. Ian, I don't know whether we mentioned it. He is one of the writers-directors who we've given the affectionate nickname Podge.
Podge.
Because he once put on a little bit of weight.
Put a couple of pounds over the course of maybe a year. We were like, right, we're on to him. We're on to you. We see you.
And how did that factor into this film? We would take the clapperboard, we would cross out his name, which was in the director
column. Rightfully so. Yeah, rightfully so.
We'd
But
write.
we'd obliterate it with ink.
We would replace it with the names of various famous fat people from history. El Pavarotti, the Blob.
Then we'd
D French,
Mr. Snake.
just play on the word Podge, so he became Roy Podgson for a little while.
Yeah.
Podge. Podge. That was
Good
it.
laugh.
That was as far as it went, I think.
Yeah.
You can see.
Seriously though, he's fat as fuck.
He's such a fat...
I'm actually surprised that you can see this, because surely your screen at home is being blocked
Sort of
by
obscured,
Podge's leg
yeah.
or something.
There's his neck.
Yeah. Some back fat.
You're probably watching this
Well, it's dark
in
matter,
Podge's
it's
stomach.
just it's different rules really. Gravity operates differently, when it gets closer to Ian.
Like doctors or rocket science blokes over here. You can get any job you want.
Excuse me.
Even doctors.
Anyway,
He's yawning. He is yawning. Although this tent obviously looks like we're in Australia, but those scenes inside the tent were filmed in...
There we go. A little bit of Summer Heights High was on the TV there.
On the TV there, Chris Lilly, who is an amazing Australian writer and comedian, made this TV series called Summer Heights High, which is on BBC Three a few years ago.
If they're watching this and listening to this commentary, they know what Summer Heights High is, because you know.
Well, he very kindly, I think, gave us that footage for free, I believe, which is very kind of him.
Absolutely did.
And if you haven't seen Summer Heights High, I mean, what the hell are you doing watching the DVD commentary of
Stop
Inbetweeners
this
6
now.
anyway?
You've got...
Pop
Okay,
this
off
out.
you go. So no one should now be listening to this. So this is now just... This is just dead
so
air
if
now.
you haven't seen Summer Heights High, stop now, go and watch it, and then come back to this.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back. Glad you watched Summer Heights High.
Good, isn't it?
You'll now get all the new jokes that we're about to do, referring to... You told me to put my balls on the ground, miss.
Jonah.
There you go. Jonah.
Yeah.
Good.
Ma'am.
Mr. G.
Where have you been, bitch?
I said, puck you, sir.
Jonah again.
Yeah.
Puck you.
Okay, back onto this. How do you feel most of those Skype bits, Joe?
The way I did it was we'd set up the laptop, then I'd have some sort of meltdown, and I'd smash up the keyboard. That was generally how we filmed them.
Yeah.
But in a sort of physical sense, rather than a sort of emotional sense.
You're
not actually on Skype. No,
yeah.
So I'm looking at a blank screen.
Yeah.
And I'm just pretending that she's there. Imagine that. Imagine how difficult that is for someone like me.
Very clever there.
Very clever.
So the
Back home now? Being done too well then. Did not dump her. Have agreed to marry.
Just one of a variety of performances you gave for that line, of course, Joe. There was quite a long period where you were doing it. You refused to do it in anything but a West Indian accent.
Yeah, I think it was part of the general meltdown. It was part of a broader meltdown.
Can we just hear a little bit of it?
I don't know if I can do it.
That was enough in a way.
It was did
not have agreed to marry her.
Did not dump her. Have agreed to marry her.
I mean,
it was an option. It was an option.
Yeah,
they've chosen not to go with it.
I haven't gone with the Caribbean lilt. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I guess because it made absolutely no sense.
Oh, got his hand in the spunk hole there, I think.
This is the very first day of
thing we
filming.
filmed, yeah.
Hence the sort of rusty performance from
I would say it's full of bountiful energy. I love it.
I've got to be honest, it doesn't stick out.
Thanks.
Really try it. It's a 5-day trek and you only sleep in a house.
And here's the gang.
Right, here we are. So this is Ollie.
There we go.
During filming.
Yeah,
Ollie.
We spent a lot of time with these guys, didn't we?
I got a bit of a problem. I think you should call it a problem, where I kept getting caught like looking at Ollie.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's weird, wasn't it? He
What is
knew.
happening?
I couldn't tell you why it was happening. Really, I just found him very compelling. When he'd look over and I'd be looking at him.
And then what did he say?
Well, he just said, he was just like, "Why are you looking at me?" And I was like, "I don't know, really. I'm sorry."
So
but...
he'd confront it as well.
Yeah. Oh, he confronts it. Yeah.
And what was the reason? He just had quite.
I don't know.
He's
just. There's just something about him that's interesting.
Ollie is the one with the hat, by the way.
With a hat.
There's another sexy man there, was it?
Yeah, that's
Freddie.
Freddie with the not his real dreadlocks.
No. But they are his real pecs.
They're his real pecs.
Yes.
Gorgeous man.
The dreadlocks used to cause him unbearable pain, didn't they? Is that right?
Yeah, originally they gave him hair extensions, then dreadlocked them. But he couldn't sleep because it gave him a headache.
Because it was pulling his scalp off when he was trying to go to sleep.
So instead they just gave him a wig, which is much easier.
Yeah, just do that to begin with, I guess.
Or just get on with it, Freddie.
Yeah, stop being such a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to have a fight, he's not coming to the... Is he coming?
No, he lives in LA.
He lives in LA.
He'll probably pop over.
Yeah.
You're much harder than him anyway. I mean,
I reckon
you
so.
know, he's...
Much musclier. That's for
Well,
sure.
your muscles are
I
twice
don't
the size.
feel like that tattoo on his right arm gets enough attention.
Yes.
What does it say?
Life never dies.
Yeah.
Life never dies. So
Pretty good, I think.
Pretty good, generic bullshit that doesn't mean anything.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good. You can imagine that on Facebook, in front of a picture of some sort of sunset, or like I don't know, some kids holding hands.
What?
You know,
I don't know what's going on anymore. But
you know those kind of bullshit things you get around. People are like, oh, this is my thought for the day.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if you're dreaming about it, you need to stop dreaming it and start doing it, or something like that. If you're dreaming, you must be asleep, and if you're asleep, you're not alive.
We
did that sort of thing.
We did used to get every day at my school. We used to get a thought for the day.
Yeah.
It used to come around at registration and say, "Here's your thought for the day," and it always used to be like, "Oh, wheels will only roll downhill." And things like that. And then my teacher would literally just go, well, self-explanatory. And then just, like, it used to be the first couple of weeks of school, we'd like discuss the thought of the day and say, what did that mean? And then it just turned into...
They just couldn't be bothered anymore.
Self-explanatory.
Anybody notice there the name of the coach company, Koala Coaches?
Yep.
Exactly the sort of name that just some English people would come up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a coach company set in Australia.
Boomerang Coach Company.
Pondre. You a Pondre fan?
What a fine musical artist.
You've met Peter Andre, haven't you, Simon? You said he was quite nice. You met him at an award ceremony.
Oh, I
didn't you?
did.
I don't know why
I think maybe he
remembered
gave
this.
us. I think maybe he...
He interviewed us once.
Yeah.
He interviewed.
He was
us
a nice
once-
fella. I don't agree
He
with the
wa-
soul patch. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had to wear a soul patch in another show I do. Fresh Meat. Don't know whether
He interviewed us for.
Guys watch Fresh Meat?
He interviewed us, I think, for This
Three
Morning,
series.
and then a year later,
Fresh Meat.
our show, The Inbetweeners, was up against his
Channel
show for
Wales fun, isn't
something.
it?
Channel 4 show.
And he
Yeah.
pretended to not know who we were. He was like, "Oh, The Inbetweeners. I've never heard of them." After we won the award, he was like, "Oh, I'll have to watch that." And I went to go to him, Peter.
Come on, mate.
You interviewed us supposedly
Yeah.
for your.
Never meet your heroes, I
Apparent job.
suppose.
Yeah, I were. There you go. Yeah.
So that's why whenever
And then
people,
we go on about Mysterious Girl, and
Whenever-
this, but people forget about some of his B-sides and some of
Well,
the album
yeah.
tracks.
I
are
mean,
just-
the less said about Insania, the better. But when people say to me, "Do you like Peter Andre?" I say, "The man or the singer?" Neither.
No.
Next. That's The Office again.
That's The Office. I mean, you know, I guess watch The Office.
All right, Byron Bay. Let's go.
Right, so there's a lot of cars there with stuff painted on them.
Yeah. Byron Bay. Let's go through. Joe, did you like Byron Bay?
Yes, I did. I'm going to go on the record. I did like it. I like hippies. I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know there's an element of bullshit to some of it.
Yeah.
I don't really mind. I think it's important
Yeah.
to have an alternative to the sort of the prevailing culture.
Absolutely fine.
So, yeah, it's all right.
Absolutely
Yeah.
fine. Right, I didn't like Byron Bay.
You didn't like
I
it?
couldn't get on with Byron Bay because of. I understand 19-year-olds being hippies and behaving like that,
Yeah.
and playing guitar and throwing rings in the street
Up.
or whatever.
Yep.
Adults,
Yes.
literally like middle-aged men or like 50-year-old men
People like me, you
that
mean?
just like couch surf their whole life.
Yeah.
They've never sort of got a proper job and stayed in this. I
Yeah.
just want to say, grow up.
Yeah.
You got to grow up, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
also-
and you know,
well, we've got a proper job, haven't we? We're
Yeah.
all.
Also, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got a mortgage and a
I
wife
work in
and
financial
kids.
services.
And also, I just want to say, I think, you know, marriage as an institution really needs to be brought back into focus because it's
Definitely.
always been the backbone of this country.
Definitely.
And
Well, thank
basically,
you,
that's why
David.
you
Thank
should
you,
vote
David Cameron.
Conservative in the next election, and let's just have a return to traditional values and get things back to how they used to be, whatever that was.
Are you being sarcastic? I feel like you're being sarcastic. Oh, I guess you'd rather everyone just sort of stopped working and just went outside because it was a sunny day.
Well, yeah, no,
Let's just wear flip-flops for the rest
Well,
of our
you're right.
lives, shall we?
That is the Labour Party's manifesto. So that's what they say.
This is good. This is what people wanted,
studio.
isn't it? They want to hear the Inbetweeners finally really get into grips with the British political scene.
This is a studio. This
This is
Mill Hill.
a
Hill Mill?
studio
Mill?
where
Mill?
Joe
Free
actually
Mills,
ate a
Free
dead
Mills.
fly.
I ate a dead fly.
Joe ate a dead fly.
Not for the first time.
No,
Well, you know,
there's
I'm a
been
left winger.
countless,
What do you
countless
expect?
situations when through the series and
Quite
the
literally
film
a
when we
left
were filming that we've dared Joe to eat something that no normal human being would eat, and Joe just does it. He just
I
gets
asked-
right in there.
I found out something that Joe wouldn't eat, which was a shaving of plastic.
Yeah, I won't eat anything non-organic.
If you
So-
just got like a plane or something and just run it over the edge of a ruler for a
Yeah.
centimetre, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, literally like a slither of plastic.
They couldn't
Just
even
swallow
do
it.
that.
Just swallow it.
I was
Would you
worried
do
it'd
that?
end up in a lung or like in my pancreas.
Why
or-
would it end up in a lung?
I don't know.
How's it gotten from a stomach to your lung?
Osmosis. In a word. Hate to bring it up.
How's a bit of plastic being carried about by osmosis?
Go down the wrong tube or something.
Yeah, but it's not going to cling onto a little blood cell and then get
It's
involved in the lungs.
They didn't. I admit the arguments against are weak, but the arguments for
Yeah, but you
were
can
weaker.
say that about anything. You could say that about a
well.
biscuit.
But well, that's delicious. So
the lung would thank you for it. Is that
But
something so
biscuits
delicious in
biscuits don't end up in your lungs.
they can and do. They
Do they?
they
Simon?
can do.
Nah.
See? All right.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Ba-doing, doing, doing.
He gets grumps when he gets tired.
This is quite lazy work from me. On that sort of jostling.
What?
Just couldn't be bothered to
You
do
being
it.
lazy?
Couldn't be
At
bothered.
work?
Couldn't be bothered. I remember thinking,
That
oh,
doesn't sound right.
I remember thinking, God, Blake's really giving it his all in this sort of jostling.
in
I'm
this
just gonna
film.
hold on to his arm and just sort of do that a bit. But you'd never know. That's the thing. Why work harder than you need to? Lesson learnt, Blake.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That made it into that was sort of a catchphrase
That's
on
just
the
a
set.
thing
wasn't
that
it?
we say in real life that's now in the film. it's not as bad as the first film, where I believe the phrase "Hell yeah" was in, which is, I think, from The
One
Wire.
of my favourite lines of the film.
Yeah.
One of my favourite lines of the first film.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I mean,
brilliant.
It's from another show. Yippee-ki-yay, of course, another great Inbetweeners line.
Yeah. We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah.
That's, that phrase haunts the film, like rings out.
Name's Bond, James Bond.
That's right.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a clunge.
That's it. Yeah.
They're so nice.
They're fucking idiots.
I haven't got any more of those.
Plot.
What's this? What? Hang on a minute. Well, Lucy, what are you talking about?
These Skype things were peculiarly difficult. It's very hard to bounce off just a blank screen.
Well, I
could bounce your head off a blank screen, mate.
Mate, I have to do it every scene. I'm acting with you, sunshine.
All right. Weirdly harsh from Buckley, but
apparently
press on we go. Got more of this to do, so just
if you're wondering what those gross noises are, I'm just drinking a little bottle of water. Listen to this.
And we had a little break just before that scene, didn't we? And Joe just kept commentating. He started commenting on his life.
I did a prayer, didn't I? Calling for the
yeah.
imminent death of Blake.
That's another
banter we had.
It's another good on-set joke, isn't it? Not really a joke.
It's a sort of meme. It's a meme.
Yeah.
A meme is a kind of, it's an idea that people share, so the idea becomes increasingly sophisticated and it can sort of becomes richer as it gets passed around. Our meme is calling Blake a cunt. It's just kind of one of those, it's a sort of shared cultural meaning. It's one of those associations that different groups can feed into using whatever sort of social networks they happen to be on. And so that's gone from Blake's a cunt to there was a song that ended with the word cunt, and then it came back to calling Blake a cunt.
Yeah.
So it develops.
How do you feel about it, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just kind of it's part of the standard day-to-day now, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Bored.
Culturally, it's just good to be part of something organic,
bigger than
and
yourself.
That's changing society.
Absolutely.
And is constantly evolving.
This scene's good, isn't it? It's it looks like it's outside, right?
It does.
Well, definitely, it must be outside, right?
We're in Australia.
There's a fire.
Well, okay,
we're in Australia.
You're not telling me.
Look at those trees and all the plants.
Okay, you know what? You said this isn't in Australia. This wasn't filmed in Australia.
Ever heard of England, mate?
Fuck me. But wait a minute. Okay, all right. Okay, so it was filmed in England, but at least it was filmed outside in England, wasn't it? It was filmed outside under the starry sky of England.
Ever heard of Inside, mate?
Fuck off. Fuck you, Blake.
You know that so you see the light flickering there.
Yeah.
Light bulb.
Yeah.
That's not a fire.
There ain't no fire.
There ain't no fire, boy.
There ain't no fire like a light bulb fire. That's the first rule of film.
Is this all the Fs? Are there any that we've missed out?
Fool them.
Fry them.
Fry them, of course. Yes.
Flog them.
Fish them. Fish for them. If you're trying to get a mermaid to be your girlfriend, fish for her.
Financially support them.
Financially support them. That's a big one.
Big one.
Finalise them. Finish them. Finish them.
Ferberise them.
So Katie and Will here drinking Goon.
parenting
Anyone ever
technique.
drunk a Goon?
Never heard of Goon until it came up on this.
Apparently it's
film.
sort of like wine residue that's left at the end of the winemaking process.
Well, that sounds lovely.
It's the bit of the wine that they chuck away, isn't it?
Yeah.
They do sell that at all the top restaurants and stuff, right?
I mean, they do in Australia, to be fair.
It's at the King's table.
Don't slag people off.
Oh, to be fair,
Neil pissing again.
Australia is
Constantly pissing.
much nicer than England. Is that fair? While we were there, I mean, the cities are beautiful. They're like they're like Sim City. They're perfect.
Yeah.
The beaches in the Gold Coast, it's like being in Second Life. It's ridiculous. Like you're looking for the pixels. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
insane.
It's like
What are you
being in
looking for on
virtual
the beach?
reality. What's that?
Pixies on
Pixies.
the beach.
I'm just always on the lookout for any kind of magical folk
Yeah.
to help me with my spells. Bringing back me ancestors.
So this is the first time we meet Lucy's character.
I think she's really funny in this
And
film.
originally she had another scene as well before this, didn't she? Originally we bump into her first
At the Sydney
Opera
House.
House.
At the spaceship, as Neil calls it, which you wouldn't have heard because we've literally
the
talked about
mothership.
every single scene.
Which for various reasons they had to cut. But very good character. Exactly
Really
the sort of
great.
person I imagine you do meet when you go to
Absolutely. Very good. I think essentially a total fuck up. A total fuck up of a character. Which I admire. It's always good to see.
Ian and Damon, for their sins, and they are awful, terrible
They're
people.
mired in sin. They wallow in depravity.
Something they do quite well is they come up with good little cameo parts, I think. I really like the character... actually, it might not have been their idea, but I like the character from the first film.
Richard.
Richard,
Played by
is
Theo
very
Bartlam
good.
Biggs.
Yeah.
And Nicky.
He's another actor who's basically gone on
Done
to
and
become
done phenomenally well, yeah.
Better things.
Wait, what's he doing?
I don't know. He's just
quite a
doing
few dramas,
respected
films.
respected
Doing well.
work. Respect.
Yeah, but
something we
he's
shall
good.
never have.
Not
He's
something
good,
I've ever
but he's
encountered.
not, it's not like Johnny Depp overnight since he done the Inbetweeners.
Who is, mate?
Who is
Well,
Johnny
Johnny Depp.
Even Johnny Depp isn't Johnny Depp overnight.
Not anymore.
Well, I don't. I've absolutely,
I just want to know.
in a sense.
I just want to know why Blake is up Theo. What's his name?
Well, no, I'm up his arse as well.
I don't know why you two.
I've worked with him a few times and I really like him. I think he's a very nice
I
man,
follow Blake up
professional
there.
actor.
Yes, but
really
Blake,
nice guy.
working on projects that you've worked on doesn't make you a success. Clearly.
Let's not list. Well,
We don't have to go through every show Blake's been
Let's
in that's
not
been
do the
cancelled.
list. Let's not do that list. What is that list?
Okay, because we've only got an hour after the film.
We haven't got enough time. If you do want the full list, we need to wait till the internet gets a bit bigger.
I got the studio
and then we'll
actually
be able to publish it
print that
online.
list out for me.
But we need to invent new computers to store the data.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. That's the thing, isn't it? The truth hurts.
It's the truth. Yeah. Well.
So Will's about to do his song.
This is one of my favourite
We
bits of
went
the
through a
film.
few options on this song before we settled on whatever it is. What is it?
First time ever I saw your
I saw
face.
your face. Yeah.
What else did we have?
We had for a
You're
while.
Beautiful
We were
by
trying
James
to
Blunt.
make.
I mean, imagine we're not allowed to say that now because we weren't allowed to.
I think we can probably say that we weren't allowed to use it.
Beautiful by James Blunt.
But I learned you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Who said no to that? Blunt, I assume.
He was very blunt. Why have I said that? Why have I said that?
I can't imagine. James.
The reason
Blunt.
James just paused is because
Sorry.
he's checking his phone.
My
there.
phone keeps going off.
How's your fridge?
How's your fridge, mate?
Oh,
He had some problems with his fridge.
It's working again. It's
God
working.
almighty.
Oh, no. Bloody hell.
I've burped.
I bet James Blunt's a fan of the Inbetweeners.
Yeah.
I bet it wasn't up to him. I bet he's listening to this now going,
I wish.
I could have had my song on the
If
Inbetweeners.
only, if only.
He could have been immortalised
Someone's
by
getting-
the
someone's getting
strange facial
fired.
expressions and weird overaged choir boy look of Simon Bird.
I kept trying to convince Ian and David to let me sing this at a lower pitch. They
If
weren't
you
having
like
it. They want it as high as possible.
Yeah, it's much funnier.
Yeah, I know. Other songs we toyed with,
If you like-
Hero. Stop
Oh,
farting,
fart,
Please,
James.
stop farting. That was a consistent theme of the shoot as well.
Just
It's
before
been a
action was
consistent
said.
theme of the show.
No, it
James
went up a
Fine,
notch
it
on,
went up
this,
a
on the
big notch.
sequel.
I think that was
It was
became
the
a thing.
timing of it, of
No,
just
I
as soon
think-
as
saving
action
it
was
for
called, we
action.
had to act through your farts.
I think it had something to do with the heat.
Yeah, no, it didn't. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
It happened in England.
Your decision making changed because of the temperature.
No, I had so much fart because of the heat.
Why were you reserving
Why was it
all for
only
action?
happening on action?
Funny.
I suppose it is quite funny.
That's it, really, isn't it?
I suppose it is quite funny to see a scene that's got moderately worse performances in it.
Look,
Because we were
listen, Joe, I've seen
wading through the mist.
Joe, I've seen how you work. All right, so
Yes.
I came to the decision that doing a little fart or trying to put you off a little bit more
Actually, it does.
ain't gonna do no harm.
Okay, well, again, I guess I'll just sort of carry on.
Yes,
Through
could
this-
you please?
through this sort of,
without whinging.
slight
Oh, stop farting before action. Oh, stop!
barrage of,
Why did you throw my bag away just
curious
as
and
they're
negative
saying
comments.
set?
Well,
It's pathetic.
well, no, that was Blake, and to be fair, Blake, you were a cunt about that. This is how it works, just mutual lack of respect. So,
All right, if I'm gonna do,
you're so sexy. I like the way she says
yeah,
that.
you're so
It's
sexy.
funny.
There's
You're so sexy.
This is weird, isn't it?
This is weird.
This is weird.
What
This is weird. I'm gonna.
is the implication that Jay wanking off over? Is
Jay-
it mainly over Will?
Yeah.
Jay, I think Jay has got some sort of thing.
She's still fully clothed. But Will's got an erection, so he's wanking off over Will's erection. I mean, that's what we.
Okay, so
I think
three
Jay's
gayest
involved in
moments?
this relationship somehow. I think he's
yes.
sort of getting off on this relationship, watching from afar. Because
Yeah.
when we were making this film, my one main memory, is being in a scene with Will and Katie, but not saying anything and just watching Will and Katie talk, bleating on for ages and ages, and then occasionally I'd wank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put it as one of the top 3 gayest moments of the film.
life, isn't it?
Jay wanking over Will. Another one is when I think it'll be coming up in a bit when Will stares at Ben's.
Jay wanking over Will's got to be the gayest moment. You can't get
the
much
way
gayer
that
than
Ben takes off his sort of vest top is like how I would imagine a male stripper would take
We'll
it
get
off.
onto that, I suppose.
We'll get onto that. This bread. Oh, the bread. We had fun with this bread.
We had fun with the bread.
Always at the wrong angle, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's not.
It didn't stand up.
That's not their fault.
It's not the bread's fault. I mean,
Why?
the bread can't help.
Who made the decision to stand the bread on its end like that anyway?
Who eats bread?
I know.
What meal is this?
I know who made that
A
decision.
tower of vertical loaf that you rip bits off with your hands.
We all know who made that decision, and it's best we don't go into that.
Oh, okay.
I was mocked for my performance of this bit.
Well, obviously. Don't pretend like it was an accident. Get here! Get here! Here we go. Now have a conversation with Will and Kitty that I am sitting in and watching.
You're wanking in this as well, weren't you?
It was fun.
A single thing that happened. Nothing. Goes straight from sitting around the fire to puking this morning.
Sucker punch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How did you prepare for that then? Like as an actor to get ready for that kind of moment?
Oh, shut up, Blake.
I didn't understand one word of what just came out of your mouth. Your so-called mouth.
Yeah. Your little...
That fucking excuse for a mouth.
Yeah, your little ill-formed...
I'm just trying to give this a little something, guys. You know, I'm doing my best here.
I know
you know.
you are,
Like,
and
you
I'm
did a
sorry.
good
I'm
job.
sorry.
No, don't say sorry to him.
I'll
He's a
look back on this and I'll think we should have done this
No.
much better.
Listen, he's a little swat. He's a little swatty nerd.
You're a
that wants
little
to talk
pig
He wants to
squelching
talk
around
about the film,
in
whereas
your
I
your
just
own
want to...
self-righteousness.
He wants to talk about the film, whereas I just want to wind up here, Morris. So we're coming from two different wavelengths.
Maybe do some singing.
I think, talking of Ian Morris, I think Ian actually had one of these when he went travelling.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, that should be mocked. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you doing?
Exactly. I mean, if you're
Put
working...
it in your front pocket. What pickpocket is going to go into your front pocket? And I mean,
What do you mean front pocket?
You know the front pocket of your jeans. Put your money
Just
in
your
there.
pocket.
If you don't want to get pickpocketed,
That's just your pocket, mate. It's not.
well, your back pocket. Maybe I can see you're at risk there. Maybe somebody's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how
front
many
pocket?
nerve endings I've got
They're
in
not
my.
going to avoid the front pocket. That's where everything is.
No, but what I mean is you'll notice
They're called
because they'll
pickpockets.
end up like
They're really
they'll
good
end
at
up
it.
like stroking your cock or something, and you'll be like, wait a minute.
I don't
Oh,
think
that's
they're
right.
bothered.
That's just the normal sensation of somebody's hand in my pocket next to my cock. Obviously, you're going to notice. You'll be like, what are you doing? Stop.
I think they're better
pickpocketing
than
me.
you think they are.
Okay, look, I'm just going to say now, this is a challenge to all pickpockets.
Look, I've seen documentaries on Channel 5 about that.
Nah, please don't rob me.
Stuff that goes on in the tube is amazing. People like nicking ties off of businessmen.
Tyres?
Ties.
Ties, okay.
From round their necks. Without them even noticing.
Why have they got a tie around their neck?
No, a tie. You fucking idiot. God, you thought I said tyre, Joe.
Imagine someone thinking that.
Oh, a little paunch has developed on.
Now listen, one thing really riles me is when you see any actor who's meant to be playing a run-of-the-mill, bog-standard male character with their shirt off, and oh, surprise, surprise, they're really stacked. They've probably got about 8% body fat.
I'm sorry.
And it's refreshing. And that's what annoys me about this. Just bottom shot there. I don't remember them filming that. I mean, you know, it feels a bit. Well, anyway, are we going back? No. I'm just saying, you know, it's
You're saying it's
funnier.
refreshing to see like a real.
It's funnier. It's
a
funnier. I
genuine
don't
human
want to
body.
see like I know actors go to the gym a lot, and actually, if you've got a really hench body and it's not part of your character, obviously Ben, he's meant to have a hench body. So
I mean,
and by the way,
look
there's the
at
game moment. I
that.
mean, look at this.
That's excellent.
That's great. There's something funny about he looks like a man with a lion's head. I mean, that's what he looks like. A sort of leonine god.
Okay.
He is gorgeous, isn't he?
He's beautiful. He is a beautiful specimen.
Talking of beautiful specimens.
I was in some sort of funk during this scene. I was in a mood, and
Do you remember what that was based on?
I just
What was the issue?
I think it was to be fair, a legitimate issue that I was worried about the quality of my acting, and I think one of the sort of executives tried to cheer me up by bringing me an ice cream. I mean that's quite embarrassing because you know I'm an adult and I probably shouldn't need to be cheered up by being given treats. But
how much time on that day did you spend with your face in that child?
Too much, to be honest. Too much. I was then given a place after that. I was given a place to relax, which was like the green room. The only other person in the green room was the child's mum. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, this isn't.
I'll tell you what
this
was
isn't very relaxing.
Yeah. Also,
it was just me saying sorry over and over again.
Also, what was great about that green room was it was a place where we were supposed to relax. Like, I mean, it's great people being fans of the show. We love that people love the show. But like, we're working that day, and like.
And often we're in quite a bad mood, or we're having
not in bad mood, but
nervous breakdowns.
We're in costume, and we don't want people to know so much about where we're filming and what we're filming because we like to keep jokes and things like that really under wraps.
And we find the process of filming, I think, much more stressful than people can possibly imagine.
So when we went and sat in the green room, and then the security man that was hired to make sure that we weren't bothered by people came up and said to me and Joe, "Oh, these people want a picture with you.
Yeah.
Go out and see them." We were like, "Well, hang on."
Yeah, it was
trying to avoid that.
Yeah, he was their security man. Actually, that's what you didn't. He was. He was the. Yeah, he
I
was.
just
he was
assumed
there.
he worked for me.
He was there to protect them from us.
Oh, it was on this ride, of course, that we... I don't think they were in the film, but we saw somebody who was actually at Splash Planet that day who looked exactly like Black.
Yes, it was this ride, yeah.
Yeah,
He
looked exactly like...
He knew it as well,
Like-
all his mates knew it,
Yeah,
because we
they
sort of
were
waved to him and
laughing.
he was like, yeah. He was horrible to look at.
He was... Oh, no, actually, I think someone had just done a shit in the pool. Look at Blake's face.
Blake is still here.
No,
Yes,
he was a relatively normal-looking guy, but he did.
and we say
He did have
relatively
warts all over
with
his
a capital R, and in fact all capitals. He was covered in grey fur. It was all matted and.
He was carrying a little version of himself in his front pocket.
He had a pouch with a version of him, a dwarf version of himself in the pouch, just like Blake. Oh God. Okay, I suppose Blake's waiting for us to move on.
I've got nothing to add.
Oh man, look. I, in a curious way, respect you for trying to commentate on the film, as was our job today. But that's not how it's gone.
Oh, really? Yawning again. He's yawning again. That's yawn number 3.
I think we need some sort of second wind here. Because
We're fine. So far, 3 yawns and 4 farts from James.
and we unable to distinguish between which ones were which. The yawns actually smelt worse than the farts, which was weird. Let's have total silence for a bit. 5 seconds of silence.
I think we should just...
Let's just stop for a bit.
Should we stop it here? No, I'm only joking. I can be bothered.
Blake, did you enjoy swimming with the dolphin?
Oh, I couldn't do that lip thing at all. I couldn't do it at all. I know exactly what Ian and Damon
Oh,
want.
no, it's good.
Nah, it doesn't look right.
I think it looks right.
Blake, answer my question. Did you enjoy swimming with the dolphin?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Did they...
We'll go to the dolphin for a slightly fuller response to that question. No, I don't know. What would they say? What would they say? What am I talking about?
We should probably just say the obviously this wasn't chicken. It wasn't a hamburger.
Well,
it wasn't a sub.
It's made of some kind of weird fishy gelatin stuff, I think.
I think it was probably made out of the same stuff as the prosthetic penises. Some sort of like.
So
composite.
that sub is that's fish, is it?
Well, no, that's real.
The one that goes into the mouth, so it cuts to
the burger though. So the burger.
The burger that I
what
anything
was
you
the
see
bread?
actually go in the dolphin's mouth is made of like a gelatin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not gelatin.
But the dolphin's brilliant. Like you just do a few hand signals, it rolls over, opens its mouth, has a little shout.
Yeah.
It's very good. Smartest animal I've worked with, including humans.
Oh, come on. Well, yeah, it's probably. I accept that criticism.
And in the background there, all those supporting artists,
They
all work on the film.
They all work for Boark International, who are the intergalactic corporation who make this moving picture. I like Emily in that one because she's kind of doing something with a post.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
That sounded perverted.
That's maybe the worst bit we've done.
I like Emily in that one because she's.
That's
doing
not bringing
something with
any
the
sort of
post.
information. That's nothing.
That
There's
was
nothing
just
interesting
gibberish.
about that.
That's absolutely.
You're not telling them anything new. You liked
It was-
one of the people in it because she might have been doing something with a post.
Good. That was good.
It was like a sort of cryptic crossword clue.
Was that some sort of rig?
Emily does something with the post.
I was wearing
Question
a
mark.
poo rig, and so they had a little squirt come out onto my shorts there. It was much debate over how much was too much and how much was just enough.
And that's why you're obviously wearing white swimming shorts.
White swim shorts. They're actually
So
just
show up.
football shorts. I think the whole thing was that Neil forgot his swim shorts.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Oh, and that's chocolatey poo that's just been dropped down.
This-
But again, I had to just kind of try and hold it and release the right amount of chocolatey poo.
I went down this slide 48 times in a day. It was genuinely, I did not get sick of it. I loved it.
Which actually.
Yeah, but you don't like this.
is in stark contrast to your experiences with roller coasters
Exactly,
that you.
yeah.
I hate
you
roller
didn't
coasters, yeah.
Enjoy.
So I really lost my voice as well doing this because.
Oh, you did, yeah. I remember that.
All of that vocal stuff we added later in a sound studio, so I didn't need to make any sound at all as we were filming that. Instead, I was screaming my little lungs out, and then lost my voice for the next 2 days of filming.
How did they do that bit?
Just added a little
I had
sound
a little,
effect there.
little sound effect there. Well
You
done,
can
James.
fart on cue.
That fucking stinks
another
as
one.
well.
It's weird that there would be just fart noises. Now, this is maybe our favourite moment of the film, I think.
Yeah.
I
This
think
is
this is
brilliantly
probably
done.
when. And I just love the music, and it's the idea that it's this sort of King Kong moment, like he's a disgusting. Simon, horrible, inhuman
it's
monster,
like-
but
it's-
there's some humanity in his eyes, and it's
I would
like
have to
people
say,
would just.
It's like the
Again-
Elephant Man.
Again, to Ian and Damon's credit, this was not the original idea for this scene. I don't think we filmed part of it one day, and there was just a sense that it wasn't quite as funny as it could be. And then they came out the second day, and they'd had the idea that I should be sort of stumbling around a bit more, and I should be a bit of a sort of monster.
Yeah.
And that sort of saved this scene, I think. So
Yeah.
good on them. You can always be improving, always tinkering.
Always, yeah. Particularly when it's our acting that you're looking to sort of lick into shape. There will be one of the things I really pride myself on as an actor is that I will give the editors the chance to improve my work. I always leave room for improvement.
To follow up on my comment about the slide, this is the scene in which I didn't have a voice. Nobody else seems to be able to notice, but I can very
Can we
much...
just hear? Can we hear this now? So let's hear Simon Bird's
It's
voice.
not
in
for a
this.
bit, I don't think, but croaky. It is croaky. Okay. I stand by that. It's croaky.
Cokey. It wasn't cokey.
Croaky.
Jane. I should have never have bought her that wee fit. She said she wanted to lose a bit of weight, and I was just trying to help. I loved her the way she was.
Yeah.
That's what you said. You couldn't. I mean, I can't tell the difference.
I can't tell the difference.
Okay.
I knew it was an island, so I thought, it can't be that big. I'll probably just bump into her down the shops, but it's fucking massive. And now she's gone forever. My life is pointless again.
This is just quite a serious bit of the film. Really.
Sorry, you bought her a
Can't
wee
tell
fit.
anything wrong with your
But Dad
voice.
was right. He should have just whipped it out.
You're very
splurged
kind.
on my mum's arse rather than
Appreciate
waste
that.
it making.
I mean,
No,
it's a shit performance, but you know, the voice sounds fine.
Yeah.
It just whatever you say sounds the same. It just
It's just like hearing a horrible. It's the equivalent of hearing a sort of horrible screaming noise.
Yeah.
In my ears, just.
I could always ask Lucy where she is. Oh shit, yeah. Lucy will probably know. Really? Actually,
Yeah, thinking about it, she'll definitely know. She sent her a wedding invitation.
Okay.
Let's go, I'll Skype her now. Shotgun. Don't worry, mate, we'll find her. Thanks for this.
No problem.
No problem. You'll do the same for me. We
I
wouldn't.
want
We think you're both
$20
fucking
from
nightmare.
Damon Beasley right now because this is the first time that I drove the car.
Oh yeah.
And
you did it first take, didn't you?
Yeah, Beasley was like, "Oh, I bet you stalled it."
He was convinced you'd stall. Yeah.
And this is me driving still.
Yeah.
Look at this parking.
We're all good drivers, aren't we?
Perfect.
I could drive, and Joe, you can drive.
can't drive.
James, you can drive, and Blake, you had to do a bit of driving in the film as well.
I had to
didn't you?
do a little bit.
How did that go?
It could have gone better. Yeah, there's a little bit of
Did you
stalling and you know, endangerment of lives and things.
And
punching the steering wheel. That
Punch
went
the
on a
steering
little
wheel
bit.
once or twice. Yeah, doesn't help when you're
Yeah, I was gonna
acting,
say,
driving,
did you
and
find the
trying not to
atmosphere?
breathe in James's farts.
Yeah.
So.
And did you find our atmosphere?
You're
of
supposed
problems.
to be a professional, Blake. You pride yourself on that.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and yet you couldn't
And
get.
do you feel that we
couldn't
were
just get on
supporting
with
you
your
and
work?
encouraging you and being forgiving if you did make a mistake?
Yeah, and I mean, there's some people on set that are supportive and nice,
thank
and
you.
unfortunately,
Thank you,
none of
Blake.
them are in this room with me right now.
Ooh.
So.
That's bloody hell, that is dark,
Who,
man.
who are you talking about then? Because we're the only people.
I
can't believe
socialise with other people on the
Oh,
set.
what? Oh,
What, like,
we've heard about your mates. Yeah.
like the extras
Nice
that you
people.
have fired.
Hey, if they're not supportive, they're gone.
Yeah,
They're gone.
They weren't bowing and curtsying properly, and if they were doing it, they were doing it flippantly,
Yep.
as if it was somehow beneath them.
They have. Well, I have standards. That's
I had to be fair on you,
The
Blake.
fairy cakes that
I
you
had to
made
get.
them
I had
bake
to get
you
rid of
were
one because
substandard.
I had to get rid of one because one, like,
Get rid of one.
well, he pretended to get, he pretended he got confused and he curtsied me instead of obviously
Yeah.
men don't
Yeah.
curtsy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you think you're funny, do you? You think
Yeah.
you're funny? Here's your P45, mate.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh,
How
you
funny
know,
is that?
I'm nervous. I'm nervous." You're like, "Oh,
no,
nerves aren't an
please, sir.
excuse."
Please, no. This is my life's
No,
dream.
listen, this
to
is
be
no
here
industry
with
for
you.
weaklings.
Yeah.
You disgust me. Get out of my sight.
And he's now in the Star Wars film.
Yeah. He's doing very well now.
Here he is, Pete.
Surprise. How are things down
Peter.
under? I don't mean your horrible balls.
Is this the one that is meant to be sort of partly based on like one of my real life friends? Who's
Got no idea, mate. Only you can answer that, obviously.
I have an actor friend. He's
Johnny Sweet.
Johnny Sweet, and the idea is he's cooler and funnier and sort of just better.
Just a better person,
Just a better.
He is. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's more what God had in mind for man.
Handsome.
And
Handsome man for sure.
Handsome.
You may remember him. He played Dean in the.
Oh, they'll
the
remember.
episode where we go to London.
They'll remember.
He's also in a little-known sitcom. I don't want to bang on about it, but I don't know whether you've heard of Chickens.
Oh.
Sky One DVD now.
Is that
available,
is that coming back? Because I love that. I love that, and I can't wait for some new episodes of.
Don't worry about it.
It was cancelled.
Don't worry about it.
Cancelled.
Television's loss is someone's gain. Television's lost. Television's lost.
Television's loss.
Television's...
I say again.
No, right. Listen. Okay. In the case of Chickens, television's loss is the viewer's gain.
Yeah. I agree with you in a weird way. Hard to sort of have viewers if your show isn't on television, but I get that.
So here, the group dispersed, don't they? This is the equivalent of the moment in the first film.
This is classic break into two
This is
moment.
classic Inbetweeners film
This is
stuff.
the breaking of the fellowship. So off goes the little dwarf on his own. The elf, the faun, and the dark rider.
I do look like an elf, don't I?
Allocate them as you wish. Go
I
off.
mean, I assumed you meant me as elf because you said fawn. For
No, well, we
next.
know.
Yeah, well, no,
we know
because
the fauns.
elf and faun are actually both Blake, and then you and me together with the dark rider.
We're one. Blake's two people. We're one person.
Why is Blake a fawn? Just so
Because he's got fucking hairy legs.
They are.
I don't.
hairy
Well, I
as all
assume
shit.
they are legs. I mean, I don't know. It's like seeing a kind of fern where you can't see the stem because all you can see is the foliage. It's like a coral reef. There could be little birds nesting in there. You know,
there are.
like a coral reef has in it. There are some little birds in there. Simon Bird. For one,
He loves getting up in there.
he loves well.
His whole
he's
family.
never happier than in Blake's legs. He loves it in there.
His whole family are in there. They're the little birds.
He's got a holiday home there, and whenever this gets too much, even just at a weekend, he gets the train out there.
Just get on with this, bird. Any good?
Oh god, I got really sick doing that.
I bet
She
he
did.
did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of course you did. What about this?
Zip line.
Yeah, this actually I was better on this.
Is it not incredibly boring?
It's not the first allegation that would spring to mind.
But
I guess in the way that sort of the experience of being alive is boring.
No, I mean the zip lining thing. Is it not boring? Because like you sign up for zip lining, it's all day long, and that's all you do. You do that about 6 times. It takes you about 4 hours to get up a tree.
Yeah, we did it in about 5 minutes, so no, it was fine.
Yeah, but you're there specially.
Do you not think that the lighting in this scene, the lighting,
It's quite
like
beautiful,
the
isn't
sun,
it?
I
It's
don't
the
know, tell you
magic
about
hour.
it, is really
witching
beautiful.
hour.
It looks like the Wizard of Oz to me. I mean, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, we are in Oz.
We are in Oz.
Yeah.
You're quite right. And this is a wizard film.
Yeah.
It's radical. And you and all your pals should go and see it.
Stop talking like you're
Like
in an
that's
Enid
me.
Blyton book.
Ah, but I am in need of Blyton. But
You wish you were, didn't you? That's your ideal
that
life,
is my
isn't it?
ideal life. I'd love that.
When you go to heaven,
Picnics and crime solving.
Yeah, when you go to heaven, that will be how you spend eternity, won't it?
Rounding up reprobates with a little terrier dog
Yeah.
as my sidekick. And then at the end, the police go, "We've been after this gang for months.
Yeah, you discover
you kids
some-
have certainly saved us a lot of embarrassment."
You discover some money in a cave
That's right.
in a lagoon somewhere.
That's right.
And you'll be like, who does this belong
Who does
to?
this belong to? Yeah. And then some swarthy men chase us off.
So here before the fire, we transmit
Sexy.
on the song lines to the rest of the planet. Let's help heal the world by throwing all the
What would you guys throw onto fire?
I wouldn't throw anything onto a fire because I agree with the message of the film in that this
Sardines.
is all nonsense, and that people that take these sort of things seriously need to get
Take it down a peg or two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sort of vaguely stand up for this in the sense that while I don't really believe anything's happening, I think it can
be
It can
nice.
shift the way you think. It can kind of get you out of your head a bit.
No, I don't think so.
I think it can.
No,
I think
if you're a normal person, I think you end up thinking like Will, in which like, you know,
Yeah.
well, I mean, what he says is completely fine. Negativity. Oh no, that's not the wrong answer. That's not. No, you
Yeah.
can't say that. There are no wrong answers, but there, make your mind up.
Apparently, this is based almost word for word on an experience that Ian had.
And he started arguing that there's nothing. I can't possibly say a wrong answer. Then all right, babies. Let's throw babies on the fire then.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah.
The whole world.
Oh, he's such a strange man.
Pass. Look, maybe you should just tell me the right answer.
There's no right answer.
So
Really, there is
yeah, I mean, well, it's like this scene's over now.
No, there's more of that scene.
There's a bit more in a minute, isn't there? Yeah.
Do you reckon anyone's watched? Well, hang on, I've got something.
James has got something.
Here's something that will take up 30 seconds of time.
Go on.
Do you think anyone has bought this DVD? Do you think that there is at least one person,
Yes.
out of all the billions of people that are going to buy this DVD, do you reckon there is at least one person that has bought the DVD that hasn't been to the cinema to see the film, that hasn't seen the film on the DVD first, has just gone straight to the commentary?
I think there could be one. If you were maybe, I don't know why you would be, but if you were writing a PhD about DVD commentaries.
Stop doing
Sorry.
it. Just carry on.
Sorry.
It's
I'd
a
throw
birthday.
James's gas on the fire.
Well, no, because that's
And that was
going
going
Because I don't know whether you've heard of the term megadeath, but it refers to a unit of 1 million deaths, and that is the sort of numbers you would be dealing in if you did that.
Oh God, so unhealthy.
You would be able to throw it though, because they're solid, of course. They're so heavy.
Yeah, just stick it in a bag.
Some
you know.
of the farts do seem like they're quite heavy.
You do.
Have you ever seen the
You have to be a
Hindenburg
bag for
disaster?
life, ironically.
You ever seen footage of the Hindenburg disaster? It'd be very much like that.
Very much.
Just twice as fast.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yes, spazzy little African
Yeah.
babies riddled with malaria and AIDS. Oh, there they go, onto the fire. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. How's that?
Okay.
That is wrong.
Yep, thought it
But
might
do
be.
you not think that maybe that puts you in a bad mood saying that?
Me?
I think Will would be in a better mood if
You might.
Katie would just put out.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, she had to be fair. She's
done her bit.
She's done her bit.
Yeah.
Will was the one who didn't take his chance just because his friend was watching and wanking.
And just because she was unconscious.
Come on, lad. That doesn't win you any lad points.
Certainly doesn't.
And there were hundreds up for grabs.
Certainly doesn't. You think I mean, let me think. What lad? I mean, if a footballer was in that situation, do you think he'd stop just because she was unconscious? No, because they're bloody lads. That's why. It's bloody football lads.
Absolutely. Well, it depends which footballer, I suppose. You know, some of them are.
Some of them are gay. Yeah, sure.
I'm not talking about the gay ones. I'm talking about the more. There's some of them more.
What one's the one that's
and more interested in?
That's a well-known gay, but it's sort of
what?
A well-known gay.
Obviously, we can't say. Even if we did
let's
know, what
not
the hell
talk
you were
about
talking
who's a
about?
well-known gay, and if we were, let's not use the phrase "well-known gay." Because gay isn't a noun.
Of course it is.
It's
Of course
it's
it
a
is.
verb. If you gay someone.
No.
Maybe just move on from the gay stuff altogether is one option.
If I was gay,
Yeah.
I'd say I'm a gay.
Yep.
I wouldn't have any problem with that.
All right. Oh, okay then.
In fact, I've got news for you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I am a gay.
Well, we're in private because no one's listening to this, so this is a
We
perfect
had
opportunity to come out.
Me and Joe had a little joke, a little running joke throughout this filming.
That was that we can like hook up.
It was just,
Like,
we
we're like,
sort
oh,
of-
you haven't got
Oh,
a partner.
Oh, you're
Have you not got a
single.
partner? Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. I thought you.
Interesting.
Well, I guess to us, I guess. I mean,
to new beginnings,
to new opportunities,
new experiences.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Interesting. Just a little joke, little weird little joke. Never goes across very well with anyone else. But as I've said, there's no one listening, so doesn't matter. I like this stuff. I think this is funny. I like your upcoming speech. I was going to call you Will. Simon Bird. Simon Alan Bird. Is that it?
No, that's my brother.
That's your brother, Alan Bird.
Yeah.
I don't know what your middle name is.
Anthony, mate.
Anthony,
Was it
that's
Alan
what it is.
that
Anthony. I
popped
knew-
down to set?
Joseph Owen Thomas.
Joseph Owen Thomas.
Blake Keenan Harrison? What is
Well, first of all, it's not even Harrison.
No.
Harrison Keenan.
Blake Harrison Keenan, of course. And James. Sir Robert. James.
Think. Come on. Buckley. What country would you?
Jeff.
I don't know.
It's like Irish.
Patrick.
Yeah,
Patrick.
It is Patrick, amazingly.
Named after my grandfather.
They cut a bit here because in the we filmed a bit where I come back and I take the guitar from Ben and then I
Yeah.
start smashing it up.
Yeah.
It was really fun to film. I got to smash up 5 guitars.
That's so good. Why did they? I don't know why they cut that.
You're
I
such a
like-
little nerd. It's really good. I got to smash up 5 guitars. Is that what you said when you got home to your wife? You go, oh, I smashed up 5 guitars today. Oh, that's good.
I just
Your
said something
your
along
tea-
those lines.
I've got your tea ready for you. That sounds like lots of fun.
Don't know quite what you're ripping on there, but
This is good.
yeah, I like
This
this.
is a good scene. She's funny.
Claudia Doherty
Yeah.
is very, very funny.
Yeah, really funny.
You should go and see her live. She does lots of shows
Australian?
in and around London and at the Edinburgh Festival.
Is she Australian?
She is, yeah. And she did a.
She lives here?
She did a
No.
comedy blap. Didn't she with Boark
She works here.
for Channel 4,
She works in this
which is
country.
online, available now. Check it out. Yeah, she lives in London.
She's come over here and she's taken.
You haven't mentioned Ferg.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, the fella. I think we have genuinely got to go back.
No,
actually.
people just rewind. There was a guy sat outside the front of the pub. What was he wearing?
Blue shirt and a
Blue shirt and
He's
hat.
there. You just see him in the hat there. Back a shot. Rewind.
Or don't.
Or don't.
You know,
Don't.
up to you.
But
He's
take our word
James's
for it. He's
friend. He's called Ferg. He came all the way from England to. And this is genuinely the fucking middle of nowhere. This is like, it's a.
population of 67
It's
people in
ridiculous.
this place.
It's absolutely in the middle of nowhere. It might as well be. It's almost like it's on another planet. It's a plane journey from a town called Olympic Dam. It's a tiny small plane. Olympic Dam is itself. Oh no! Wait a minute. Well, essentially, it's a long way.
Basically, it's a really difficult place to get to.
There he is,
There
blue
he is
shirt.
there in the blue shirt.
And
he's
Ferg came
he's
all
my
the way
actual mate.
from Essex.
He came all the way from Essex just to have a pint with me.
That is literally true.
That's
And,
basically it.
we said, well, if you come all this way, you should probably do. You should probably be in the film.
But I used
Do
to
some
go
work.
about before I was in the Inbetweeners. A little bit after I was in the Inbetweeners as well. I used to go about with him and fit kitchens for people.
Yep.
In a little mini.
We make it seem there like he did this amazing thing to get all the way to the middle of the outback by himself.
Yeah, what
It
he
wasn't
kind of
by
did.
himself.
He got. Yeah.
He got to the nearest.
He got to a
city.
nearest town, which was about, I don't know, 1,000 miles away or something.
Yeah.
And then I think Damon went to pick him up.
No,
Someone from the pub.
Yeah,
the
it was
barman
Andy.
From the pub.
It was Andy.
Drove through the night.
It was Andy.
To pick up first.
Crashed his car?
He crashed his car, yeah. It was Andy. He was a really, really great guy. He was the barman at that
That
pub.
pub that we
That
you
pub
just
that we were
saw.
just outside was where we were actually staying. And they were all great there, and we had so much fun.
We had such a good time in the
Wonderful.
outback, didn't we?
It was brilliant.
It was wonderful. I'll tell you why it was so fun, because there was no mobile phone.
There was nothing, wasn't there? We had to.
we went out to Stargaze
and there was
in
no
the
internet
night.
access, so we had to talk to each other.
It was.
And
it was
that
a
was
real
why it was
lesson.
fun.
We'd
That
get
is
drunk
literally why
late
it was
into the
fun.
night, and then we'd drive out into the middle of the desert, and we'd go stargazing.
It was
And it
stunning.
was it was really breathtaking.
It was wonderful, and I was happy
good.
there in a way that I have not been happy before.
It's the most romantic moment of my life.
It was lovely, and you can see the galaxies.
What was
Blake,
the?
go on.
I was gonna
Blake's eating some white buttons.
I am, yes.
I'm
Very
having.
tasty.
I'm eating the worst thing you could possibly eat while doing an audio recording. It's
glue?
a crunchy.
Yeah. Jay also eats a crunchy in this scene coming up, doesn't
Oh
he?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Obsessed with crunchies.
absolutely.
They are good though.
Man and boy, fiction and reality.
How hot would you say it was? when we
I
were
think it
filming
might
this?
have been about 48 degrees.
It was,
I think we were pushing. It was pushing 50, wasn't it? 50 degrees.
Yeah, it was a refreshing
Celsius.
50 degrees. A temperature at which Heston Blumenthal would cook, quite literally. I mean, if you were doing one of those 72-hour things, you might put something in at 50. I reckon. If you wanted to get an egg that was that had gone all weird, for want of a better description, a weird egg, you might cook that in the outback for a few days. But you'd be dead by the time it was ready to eat.
We were treated very well by the crew, weren't we? In between scenes, as soon as they called cut, they'd come in. We'd have
It's incredible.
They'd put like sort of wet towels around
Yeah.
us.
If you
And
want,
we had the main thing we actually had to wear was a net over our face because of the flies.
Yeah.
I'm amazed you can't see.
Well, there's one there.
flies,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot. The thing is, there were more flies than I expected, particularly
They
in
were
the
everywhere.
eyes.
Yeah, up the nostrils.
I
in the
would
mouth.
tolerate flies if they weren't in my eyes, ears, and other orifices. And the truth was, that was the only place. Those were the only places they were interested in going.
Well, stop shoving flies up your ass.
Yeah. Well, I should have stopped doing that, really. But unfortunately, I can't stop. Whatever. So, is that a fly there? No.
Right. Any other
No, that's Simon Bird.
Whee! Got it, Simon. You're a fly. You look like a fly. You talk like a fly. You're a fly.
Whole lot of squinting going on in this scene as well.
Very sunny. It's quite sunny in Australia, isn't it?
It's sunny out
It works
there.
out.
People die. I mean,
Sun
people
was
die in the
fucking
outback.
everywhere.
Oh, that was also what
go
we
through the
discovered, wasn't it?
outback.
Because we were in the outback, and we all found out just how easy it was to just sort of die.
Yeah,
because it was so hot.
At the pub/hotel that we were staying at, they had cuttings from the local newspaper of
People who died.
various tourists.
Yeah.
Stories of various tourists who had come and stayed and just died.
It's
But
just.
it would like there
incredibly
was some
sad.
times when I was just like in between shots or whatever, I was just sitting in a chair and I was, because of the heat, I just felt so tired, and I just thought I could just shut my eyes now and just probably
just drift away.
Just if I was on my own, I would do. I'd shut my eyes now and they'd probably never open again.
Yeah.
All of this stuff was quite a last minute thing, I think. This was actually meant to be our day off.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
not
in there?
go into that.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, this is what I would have done on my day off. Wander around a barren wasteland. Metaphorically. So, might as well do it literally. I don't know what I mean by
Can't
that.
believe we didn't bring any sun cream. Not even like Factor 8. Even some shitty
It's a bit
Factor 8 would
dusty.
make the situation better.
And also the floors.
The floor's what? Go on, I got to hear the end of
The
this.
floor's full of thorns.
That was true, yeah. They get into your socks.
The
wouldn't
only plant there is what I would refer to as thorn. And the only animal is fly.
You'd kneel down and just get a knee full of thorn.
It was just, it's a difficult place to film. I mean, you need a 4-wheel drive and you need to not get out of it. And you need some tracks on the stereo. That you can,
the open road.
Open road,
rocking
boy.
tracks on a stereo.
Yeah. Beautiful woman on your arm.
Or maybe get a DVD player and watch a couple of flicks.
A couple of movies.
I feel sorry for Blake in this scene wearing trousers. Amazing.
I was quite happy with it. I didn't mind. I quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
Less makeup on the legs.
Yeah.
And we all know we've got to keep these legs covered up, otherwise it turns into some kind of fantasy movie.
Oh, that's it.
It turns into some kind of
You can see my
Lord
hooves.
of the Rings epic.
Yeah, I've got 2 knees on each leg. One half the way down the shin. It's like a big finger. Like a spider.
Oh.
Oh.
I think I ate that crunchy too quick. Oh, Jesus.
When they reported being dead, I bet.
So
Just a bit
this
of
is
indigestion there.
a new departure for us. Really, this was kind of quite a serious bit.
This was a nice filming. I
We
remember that much.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
Neil's
But I
about
mean-
to piss in your mouth.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, not quite the serious, but yeah. But for me, that was a very serious scene.
Just putting my head down for a bit.
You have a little rest, mate.
Cheers, mate.
We'll hold the fort. Okay, so
Just congratulations if you've stuck it out to now.
Absolutely.
You're doing very well.
You've lasted longer than me.
I'm just going to go for
James's eyes are closed.
all out. So let's do, I don't know, most underrated European cities for a day trip.
Underrated.
Let's go.
Well, it's not really underrated, but
Luxembourg
Copenhagen's just ideal.
Copenhagen. Oslo's very nice.
Liverpool's nice to visit.
Yeah. Edinburgh. Beautiful.
I'm dying.
So I don't know. Let's say like
Real, if you get the chance.
great international railway journeys.
Well, if you are in Oslo, you go Oslo to Bergen.
Also
don't you?
Bergen.
Phew.
The
Okay, let's
The
talk.
most
It is. There's the
Let's
meaty
talk about
prosthetic penis.
Neil's penis.
It's very knobbly.
It's big, isn't it?
It's
That
a
is
big
big,
one.
right, guys?
It's a lot of foreskin on there as well.
Guys, that's larger than average, right?
I don't know, mate. To be fair.
Well, it's a different. I mean, it's chalk and cheese. I mean, that's in a different league. I mean, yeah.
It is. Was that like hot tea?
It was tea.
It
so
was
they-
hot, wasn't it?
They used tea because it looks a bit like urine, but what they did was just make some tea, like brew some tea. And they were like, okay, the tea's ready, and get it before it cools down, because the last thing that somebody in 50-degree heat would want is some cold water on their face.
That's my favourite shot of the film.
It's a skull, isn't it? It's a urine skull. It's Damien Hirst designed that shot. It's about the inadequacy of man, and how ultimately we're all doomed.
Yeah. So this was quite weird filming this.
Yeah, we got.
I felt genuinely sad because I just felt like.
Is it because you thought you might not get to work with us again?
Well,
That must have been
I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, but we
Okay,
know.
say no more. Say no more.
No, yeah, of course it was.
Well, it is sad, to.
I was just sitting there thinking, I'm going to go on now to have a really amazing career, and I don't think I'm going to work with these guys again.
Okay, so you were delirious. You'd lost your mind. No, I can't
Joe,
understand.
do you want to fight?
We'll have a little fight.
Do you want to fight?
Yeah.
Can I fight you, Joe, after you saying that?
Well, you started it, mate.
You've mugged me off on the DVD commentary.
I've mugged you off. I think
we-
it's
I
the
think
first
we
time
should
I've ever
fight.
managed to mug anyone off in my entire life, I think. So I'm just going to bask in the glow and then go back to being worried about, to be fair, me acting. But here's one thing I do enjoy. It's the way that me and Simon Bird choose to hold hands.
Yeah.
I've never had...
I know-
Even people in my life that I've had sex with and have been having sex with,
I
I've
know-
never held their hand
I
like this.
noticed
I've never
this.
done as intimate a handhold.
I noticed this at the time, and I never ever said anything, but I did notice it. I did see it thinking, There's something going on there between these two.
I think it's nice.
It's nice. It's like maximum surface area to volume ratio.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to feel every single one of your little fingers.
So this is the what year is this England top from? There's a bit of trivia.
1990, isn't it?
1990.
It will be a bit
good,
1990
good vintage.
yeah.
Almost. I mean, that was a good year for England, basically. Looking back.
96 was good.
96 was good. Simon, you say it's the best year of your life. Euro 96.
Not a bad year.
Great year, wasn't it? I was so happy. There's the handout I'm talking about. Maximum contact.
And now the sort of camera pans up and away.
And then I don't know if you saw this in the cinemas, but this is where there would be a break in the cinemas at this point. This was the end of Act 1. And you would be allowed to go out and go to the toilet and get something to eat.
Ian and Damon apparently seriously considered ending the film here. That would just be the end of it.
Have they locked off
the Inbetweeners die? And
yeah,
that's that.
Are we just not moving there, or have they done something funny there? Because we do look remarkably still. Have they kind of done some kind of Instagram thing where they?
I think we were just
locked
that
it
tired.
I don't know how they could have moved the camera like this.
How's that gone up so high? I don't remember the cameraman being that tall and that extendable.
Wasn't it Inspector Gadget?
Makes it look like
that's why they had Inspector Gadget on DOP duty. Oh, trad.
All right, here we go. So this guy Morris had a massive crush on.
Now he's in The Castle, isn't he? Which is a really good Australian comedy film. When I was in Australia in my gap year, I was staying with a family who kindly agreed to look after me. The very first thing that happened when I met them was they sat me down and put The Castle on. It was like the equivalent of having to like salute the flag in an American.
I think that's quite good.
I like it. Yeah, it was like
it's like an Australian coming over and making them watch 40 Towers or something.
Yeah, or other. Yeah.
Or the Inbetweeners.
Other classic comedies, the Inbetweeners, for example. I mean,
no.
Let's not get out of 40 Towers' arse. Let's, I mean, it is a classic.
It's good to have Lydia. It's good to have Lydia around in the Outback, wasn't it?
Yeah. I tell you what,
Lydia was in the Outback with us. She did one day's filming. She was there with us for the whole week. She didn't bring anything to do. The one thing she brought to do was some knitting to make herself a scarf. And she was staying in the Outback.
Absolutely extraordinary.
And then she lost the scarf that she made.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear, no.
Oh, she did. Yeah, she did.
Just on
if you are going to the Outback, you should bring some sort of activity to do, because the only other activity is picking insects out of your eyes, which does get a bit dull after a while.
Do you want to get back together?
No.
Board game recommendations. What was that one they had? Oh, I can't remember what it was called.
Board game.
Stratagem.
I don't know.
Stratego.
It's a bit like a cross between Guess Who and Battleships, and I guess
bit of risk going in there.
Bit of risk, yeah, and it's fun. It's a good game. I think it's only available in the Australian interior because that's where you've got enough time to play it. The games take hours. They take as long as an actual military campaign.
We couldn't wait to leave the Outback.
It is a good game though. You should check it out.
I did not enjoy being on the back of that. Me and Blake are in the back of that pickup truck just then, and it did not feel safe. It didn't, did it?
I don't.
I was alright with it, mate. But I'm a bloke, and I
was.
Some people to look for us, and we were on the news. They called us pommy morons, and everyone's flown over because they were worried. But everything's changed.
More Skype acting here. It's difficult. Obviously, that isn't there when you're doing it. It's a blank screen.
There's a lot of debate, wasn't there, about how to end the film. And I think on the deleted scenes they'll be able to see
us in hospital.
We filmed a scene in between this scene and the one you've just seen before it, where we were in hospital. And
really good scene, I think.
Yeah, it's very funny. Check it out on the deleted scenes.
It's got a comedian called Marek Larwood in it, who's pretty good. Funny. Pretty funny guy. And it was my favourite scene because all I had to do in it was pretend to be asleep, which I
you fucked it up a bit, actually, mate.
I fucked up a little bit. But I worked around it by being asleep. It's a good day. And just occasionally asking for sweets and cups of coffee.
This is one of my favourite shots of the film.
Wines.
Oh yeah, this is good.
This is good.
I'm single and now Pete has to go out with you.
Yeah, very good.
I love that.
Well done, Joe.
Thanks very much. The hair, of course, looks like it's got a shot up because I'm excited. The like a cartoon character.
And here we go, bit of Gilbert for
Whee,
you.
gotta have a bit of Gilbert, haven't you?
There he is.
People would be upset if Gilbert didn't feature.
This was a special set that we had built with an extra high roof.
Okay. Well,
he's tall.
A man loves a lady very much.
Somebody asked me once if there was some sort of Lord of the Rings sort of...
If they'd fucked around with it to make it look like
I'm on my knees.
Yeah, or that they...
I've got my knees in the shoes.
He's on green screen and they put him in even bigger.
No, it's simply a case of I'm short, he's tall. Simple as that.
Yeah, because your eye line is like his belly button.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Have you ever seen his face?
Well, no,
It depends what the weather's like. If clouds moving in, then it simply isn't possible.
So here's some bad news. It turns out
depends on...
desert because I appear to be.
They really went for it,
Depends on
didn't
the
they? That
pressure.
snogging. They were enjoying that a little
Too much. Yes. Well, they're both fine-looking human beings, and I would snog either one of them.
After that, I bet you chasing the fat chicken here. Your lucky fatty bum bum didn't eat you during the
Have you ever punched anyone in the face, James, really? In
No.
real life?
No, I'm going to say no.
Okay, he's going to say no.
I mean, weak for time was weak as fuck, obviously. More like
It's almost as though you want me to move on from that topic of conversation.
So, I've been punched in the face more times than I've punched someone in the face.
Do you know what? I can believe that.
Yeah,
I loved this fight. I like watching two men fight.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Seeing these two blokes just really going at each other just made me really happy. I don't know why. I just enjoyed it.
Sexy.
It's partly. It's partly the sexy, obviously. It's just something. It's just good to see blokes fighting. I don't know what that reveals about me. I just enjoyed it. It was just something about it. I think I can imagine getting into watching boxing or even just those things on YouTube where it's just people fighting in people's backyards.
Just just do that. Or we could go about filming it on my phone if you want.
Okay, well we'll go out after this.
Right. The dialogue in this is super quick.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're trying to keep that energy up because it's the last sort of scene of the film.
Yeah.
But the dialogue is just...
Yeah, baby, yeah. And off they drive.
And off they
into
go.
their future.
Yeah.
Bye.
What do you think they're going to do now, those characters? Well, we know
I think they're probably just gonna...
I imagine they'll probably get hold of some
This was
guns.
quite good fun.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't get to fire one.
No,
I'll tell you what,
but
it's
you
fucking-
did get
it's
to fire a
terrifying.
rocket
Oh, I
launcher.
did get to, and that's not even
And
in
it's
it.
not in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I forgot about that. So after they had their guns, Will actually got to fire a rocket launcher. That hasn't made the cut, but I'll tell you, it's pretty fun.
There's Pete.
I think I got a future in
You finally got him.
military, maybe.
I found firing the
Something about-
guns so terrifying. I've just never. It's freaked me out.
I
didn't
was
enjoy
surprised
it. I
how
don't
easy it
understand
was.
them.
We should just
Oh,
point
God,
out for the record, these they're real women. They are not
real
they're not
penises.
lady boys. They're women, and those are
Those are prosthetics.
Prosthetic penises.
And not only does Neil have a big penis, but the sort of people he hooks up with also have big penises. So it's sort of like fencing, essentially.
Go on.
Well, fencers have big penises. As far as I'm aware.
Banter Brigade, there you go.
little
Koala
update.
wanking off a kangaroo.
And tickling the balls is the nice
Tickling
touch
the
there.
When I was at university, that was my haircut.
That's
You
true.
loved having
I
cornrows,
can
genuinely was
confirm
my
that. That is
haircut.
exactly what Joe looked like at university.
I didn't enjoy
Right
them.
down
I didn't enjoy the
to
cornrows. They
the
were really painful.
Sleeveless tops.
Fuck off, Simon. Off he goes. Where's he going? Where are they all going? Where are people going?
This, and there were other options, weren't there? Here, Blake, for Neil's.
There was two other options.
There
wasn't
was, yeah. There was
Lisa's
Jessica
pregnant.
Knappett, who played Lisa in the first film, who was the lady that I got with at the end. She comes back pregnant, and Neil runs off, much like he did at the end of the first film when he ran off with Lisa, but he runs away from her. I can't remember what the other one was.
Much like, but also different enough that it's okay to put it in the second film.
Yeah, it's almost like an homage.
It's an homage. It's an homage to ourselves, but that's still an homage.
And here they pause.
As we're
They
trying to get
pause
back.
the action just as the big man is about to fall on me, and he did fall on me, and I hurt my little nose.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry
All
about that.
Here's,
Well,
here's the credits.
Here's the crew. Don't worry, you can turn off now.
You can turn it off now.
Don't worry about that.
I've got to go.
I've
got to go.
No, thank you to everyone. Thank you to.
Thank you.
Who was the standby carpenter? Was it Pete Stammers?
I think it probably
Yes, it
was,
was,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
was,
Thanks,
wasn't it?
Pete. And I think I remember it
Chris
was the
Hemming,
firm
the old
living
medic,
props
he
who
was a
did
good
the
lad.
greenery for us.
Yeah.
Isabel Griffiths, of course, musician's contractor. Thank you, Isabel.
Air Lyndhurst.
Great job.
Hashtag selfie. Great song.
Thank you to Nice Hair Publishing for allowing us to hashtag selfie. Probably one of my favourite songs.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thanks, Pop Sex Limited. Thank you, Adagio in G minor. Sort of the song that we would play to get into the mood.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. I guess goodbye.